are the ones that play late in the year. So we're always going to be focusing on improving, and obviously, focusing on eliminating mistakes that give us a chance to win.
As you turn that page towards this next game, what is it that makes you feel that Ryan Tannehill could bounce back to what you've seen from him before?
Well, Ryan's played, good football for us. When we've been able to protect, and I'm confident that he'll hit the ones that we're supposed to hit and eliminating the mistakes, and not feeling like we have to force the ball. We'll have to protect them, and we'll have to stay efficient. We'll have to. It's a big key for us is making sure that we're not getting those disadvantaged down and distances, 1st and 15, 1st and 20. Even looking at our game last year, when we were able to stay on track, we were able to move the ball and stay out of 3rd and long against a very good defense, good scheme, good players. But the times where we start off 1st and 20, first play of the game, self-inflicted wounds.
How much of the Ryan's throws that were not, it looked just like maybe some of those out passes and some of the timing?
Yeah, we're going to focus on here the Chargers, and we'll had an opportunity Monday to talk about it, but really, we all know that we'll have to get better quarterback play from Ryan and going moving forward. He knows that. That's not a secret to anybody.
When stuff opens on the backside on a pass play, are there situations where the play call just makes it so that it's not possible to get there?
Can you give me a specific example? I just don't want to speak in generalities and then get quoted.
On the 3rd pick, it looked like they busted coverage on Burks on the other side of the field.
I've referenced that, right? That's when you go a yes or no, when you go to the backside, you go to the receiver, the single receiver, you're picking a side, and don't hate the decision. It's single coverage, I think, and so we just underthrow it. Don't give them a chance. I didn't like the execution. But, yeah, there is going to be a side that you're going to start to and progress, and certainly, Traylon came out of the bunch free, and so that's, wish we just started over there looking in hindsight, but there's a lot of single receiver X's in this league, and, Hobbs caught a lot of passes over there. So there's a lot of other X's in this league in the backside of 3-by-1. So don't hate the decision. The execution's got to be better.
So it depends on the set and the play as to whether if something breaks free on the backside, you have a chance.
He's made up, most of these times. And in that specific example, Ryan, he's made up his mind that he's going over there. And if there's a concept that we're working to the bunch side, then we would certainly have expected him to see it. But that happens. I understand that.
How much do you have to alert your DBs that Herbert's the type of quarterback who can make throws and will make throws that other quarterbacks might not attempt?
Well, the arm talent, play strength, going in either direction, being able to move the ball downfield. But he just, he also knows where his outlets are. Everett and Eckler do a great job. He's decisive with the football, doesn't hold on to it real long. He knows where those checkdowns are. So, we just have to make sure that we're tight, and that we're forcing him to kind of progress through.
What did you guys do well last year against him to keep him at the end zone, have some success in the secondary?
Well, I think that we were able to get lined up in the times that, they were moving fast. We forced them, to throw the ball underneath. I thought we tackled okay. We didn't give up a ton of big plays. There were a few, but it'll be a different game. We'll have to be ready for some tempo. It was successful for them last week, scoring on 5 of the 6 drives that they went fast and got into the red zone and they got on the ball. And so I'm sure they'll have a plan for us, and maybe some of those plays are similar. Some of them will probably be different.
You guys played this team relatively recently, but obviously they've changed offensive coordinators. Kellen Moore now in charge. What kind of challenge does he present as a?
Well, they ran a lot of snaps. They ran 76 snaps, and there's always run pass conflict. If he likes his numbers outside, they'll throw it out there in the relief passes. The tempo, certainly being able to mix personnel and getting everybody involved. You know, he was able to spread the ball around, had some scheme plays for some of the guys, take advantage of some of their skill sets. You know, and there's also some things that showed up again that Herbert must have liked, or you know, somebody there liked. Coach Staley liked, because some of the things that they ran against us last year showed up in the first week.
Austin Eckler, I mentioned, you know, a new dedication to the rushing attack, and you see what they're able to do with he and Josh Kelly. What do you make of, you know, how things have shifted just in that one game that you got to see?
Well, they ran hard. They blocked well. You know, and if you're going to play them in split safety defense, you better get off a block and make a tackle and fill and fit. And, you know, that's the battle you wage. They ran the ball 9 of the first 14 plays and ran it 3 times inside the 10-yard line. So I told the team today. So, you know, certainly they want to stay balanced and run the football. Ran it 40 times.
Mike, when it comes to Derrick Henry's usage, is there kind of a plan before the game about how much you want to make sure Derrick plays or how many times he wants to get it? Or is it adjustments throughout the game that end up with how much Derrick plays and how much he gets it?
I think that's probably goes by the game and in a feel for what we think, you know, and how things are going. You know, I think we want to make sure that, you know, guys are getting the ball, you know, Derrick at the top of that list, and Hop and Traylon and Chig and Tajay. So, you know, trying to create opportunities for them and then see how it goes. You know, just like the screen to Derrick is something that we've always had, and, you know, that's been a good play for us. So making sure that we, you know, get some of those things called that we've had success with, you know, in the past.
How willing do you have to be to give up routes or slow down people who run routes in order to chip Bosa and Mack?
You know, I mean, they just, you know, they chipped us. Saints started chipping us, and you know, I still think that there's some ways that you can get those guys involved. I mean, they won't be at the normal depth, but you know, it's going to take a group effort. You know, when you play some of these premier players in the league, to try to make sure that, you know, we're taking care of the quarterback, we're helping. You know, so just having a plan for where those guys go, and, you know, being able to help the quarterback, and, you know, somewhere in the route after they do it. You know, making sure their first job is to slow them down and put them where, you know, the offensive line wants them to be, whether that's inside or making them run around, but then having an opportunity to get into the route. So certainly not going to be at 15 yards when they're into the route after they chip, but they'll be somewhere out there.
How important are fundamentals and footwork towards making sure that you get better quarterback play this week?
Fundamentals and footwork. I think everything we do is going to be about fundamentals, everything we want to focus on. But it's also about, you know, making great decisions, letting the ball go, you know, having a few details. Like we talk about this all the time. Like we got to take a, you know, cut a thin slice of what we're supposed to do, have a few details, and then go play when the ball snapped, and not be indecisive or, you know, waver. Whatever we did last week won't have any bearing. Whatever the Chargers did won't have any bearing on the game. And that's the facts. And things that you did last week, whether that's good and bad, you know, we have to understand that it's, you know, it's a whole new week. It's a new team. It's a new opportunity.
Some of these skill positions, the wide receiver, tight end position, big guys, big bodies.
Yeah,
what do you
athletic.
see from them, Coach?
Well, I mean, they you know, have a nice little package for him. Everett, you know, throw him a bubble for 10 or 12 yards. He was involved in, you know, chipping some, and then he's involved in free release and willing blocker. Not the biggest player, but I respect his willingness to block, which he did. Helped him run for a lot of yards last week, so certainly respect that. And then, you know, obviously Parham, just with the size, matchup issues, it was clear that, you know, they'd be looking for him in the red zone.
When a guy like Amani, who's been in the protocol before, goes back into it, does it alter the baseline requirements or the process that he has to go through and required to pass in order to return? Does it change?
I think the protocol is what it is. Symptom score, and when that's 0, then you start the return to play and the conditioning and the weightlifting element, and and then eventually practice, and then an independent doctor. So I don't think it changes to the best of my knowledge, and so we'll keep monitoring him as he works his way through the protocol.
How does he seem to be doing, and then what are maybe some other options you will have to consider this
Well,
week?
all I would say is that he's still in the protocol, so that would tell you, that he's not ready to get back out there, and the options. I mean, we've got Elijah, Mike Brown, all the guys that played for us in the preseason, Matt Jackson, and Shy Carter on the practice squad. That would be the options.
How do you feel about Elijah in terms of back end versus, and so you're equally comfortable with him either spot?
Yeah. I mean, I think that his willingness to tackle, and again, was able to open up and show some range last week back there, and they tried him. Him in and around the line of scrimmage has always been something that's been a skill of his, a strength of his to be able to, whether they're throwing a bubble or he's fitting in on a run. He made a really nice play on a toss crack last week, and so, as he moves back, there's just a little bit more space, and that's why those reps in training camp, preseason, were critical for him to be able to see those things just from a little deeper. But I think that the more he plays, the better it'll be. He's an instinctive football player. It's just been keeping him out there.
Does Christian have any lingering effects with the hamstring, or do you expect him to be good to go?
Christian will probably be somewhat limited today, but hopeful to return here shortly. So Traylon's has a personal matter, just to give you a heads up before you guys start, looking at practice. But expect him back tomorrow. So just giving you guys a heads up. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, there you go. That was Titans head coach Mike Vrabel. We'll react to that coming up next. Plus, Ryan Tannehill will also speak at the podium, so we will carry that live and in its entirety on the other side. Caroline, Willy, D-Mase, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
Touchdown, Tennessee!
All the big stories.
I fully expected DeAndre Hopkins wanting a one-year deal.
All in one place. We are Nashville's best sports talk. 102.5 and 106.3.
Touchdown, Tennessee!
You're going to make a trade like this.
Does he want to retire a Tennessee Titan?
The door's on the board.
Such superstar players. The Game. And the Game Nashville app.
Let's tell you about F&M Bank. We do this every Friday. Take it to the bank. Brought to you by F&M Bank. We make our fun predictions for the weekend, and I want to tell you some of why we're really excited to have them on board as one of our sponsors here on 102.5 The Game. Whatever your banking needs are, F&M Bank can serve you with their 20 convenient locations across Middle Tennessee and up into Southern Kentucky. Everybody has different financial goals these days. Simplified checking, a new savings account, a business-to-business loan. Banking made easy on purpose is their motto. They want to simplify things and treat you like family. And they want you to treat your finances like a member of your family. You might need mortgage-to-mortgage shopping. Whatever your needs are, F&M Bank is that full-service bank right in your community. West End Avenue in Midtown Nashville, downtown Franklin on Main Street, Mount Juliet and Murfreesboro too. That's the theme, right in your community. It's time you find out for yourself why F&M Bank is changing the way banking is done. Life is complicated. Your banking doesn't need to be. It's F&M Bank. Visit myfmbank.com. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
We got a good thing growing at the Nashville Fair. We offer nightly music, wrestling, cultural arts, barnyard animals, dinner shows, games, competitions, classic fair foods, and thrilling rides. Join in and explore the fun at your Nashville Fair, the only fair in Nashville. Now through September 17th at the Fairgrounds Nashville. Buy tickets online and save at nashfair.fun. Come on out and grow with us at the Nashville Fair.
It's time to celebrate this fall and unleash the beast. Monster Brewing proudly presents to you Beast Unleashed. 0 caffeine, 0 sugar, all the adult beverage fun. The Beast is unleashed with great taste, bold familiar flavors, and 6% alcohol. Go wild with Mean Green, White Haze, Peach Perfect, and Scary Berries. Don't fear the Beast. Enjoy Beast Unleashed at your next tailgate or football party. Drink responsibly. Must be 21 and over.
The two most sought-after, most prestigious names in bridal jewelry come together for one epic event next weekend at Genesis Diamonds.
Tacori and Viraggio, the world's premier designers, will be showing off their entire collections. All the latest designs, many showcased for the first time ever, with up to $5,000 in savings.
Everyone loves Tacori, meticulously crafted by master artisans in their California design studio. Discover the hidden details and exceptional quality that sets Tacori apart. There's always more than meets the eye with Tacori. Come explore the entire Tacori collection, including all new Tacori fine jewelry, earrings, bracelets, eternity bands, pendants, and more.
If you're engagement ring shopping, this is a once-a-year event you can't miss. Other jewelers aren't even allowed to carry these iconic American-made brands.
Also for this event, Genesis is showcasing an expanded selection of GIA-certified diamonds in all shapes and sizes.
Next weekend, September 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. Take advantage of special incentives, 0-interest financing, and as much as $5,000 in savings. Only at Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs.
We try to stay cool by being on social media.
I'm with it. I'm hip.
Follow us on Twitter at 1025thegame and on Instagram at 1025thegame Nashville.
Hey!
Oh yeah, and like us on Facebook too. Having some fun in the midday.
Yeah, it's awesome.
This is Caroline, Willy, and D-Mase on 1025 and 1063 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Caroline, Willy, D-Mase. 1025, 1063 The Game in the Game Nashville app. We just heard from Titans head coach Mike Vrabel. We are waiting to hear from Ryan Tannehill. He will be at the podium shortly, so we will carry that live and in its entirety for you. But a couple of updates from Mike Vrabel, and this is something that it's not new, and it hasn't been new the past couple of seasons, but the injuries in the secondary. Elijah Molden can't stay healthy. And then now Amani Hooker in concussion protocol. Mike Vrabel revealed to us that he will remain in concussion protocol. So if you're in concussion protocol on Wednesday, you're not playing on Sunday.
No, it doesn't look like it, unless something miraculous happens. Now, obviously, they will evaluate him today again, and good for the team that this is the first day that they're going to practice. So if he is going to play, he needs to be, I would believe he needs to be cleared by today, but it doesn't seem like that. But this is what we've been talking about, the secondary in a sense.
Ryan Tannehill's up at the podium, so we will send it over to Tannehill.
How easy will it be to bounce back from that?
Definitely be easy to be a lot better than that. Tough to watch that film. I watched it, I think, 5 times over the Sunday, Monday. Kind of went through everything multiple times and looked at the areas where I can be better, where we can be better, and I think we nailed those down and excited to move forward.
Anything you kind of pointed out for yourself, Ryan, or was it just one of those, like for you, just an off game being with a lot of new pieces?
Yeah, definitely wasn't my best day. Obviously, I think there's no calls about that. I think a lot of areas where I can be better. Excited to be better in those areas this week.
Do you feel like it was different from before? Where it's like it seemed like before you'll see it, let it rip immediately, but maybe this time like you weren't believing what you were seeing at times, or what do you think was behind some of the the misreads or opportunities to throw the ball where you did?
I don't necessarily think that was it. I'm not going to get in and break down the whole game right here, but definitely areas where I can be better for sure.
So what are some of those areas?
Huh?
So what are some of those areas you want to be better?
Every area where you look like I could be better, then that's probably it.
Did you feel like a couple of sideline completions, normally that timing that we see with you, just didn't seem exactly right? Did you feel like the timing was just a little bit off on some of those?
Yeah, no question. We have to be consistent in what we're doing out here on the practice field and then have it translate over to games. We can't have inconsistencies there, across the board whenever we're we're playing on Sundays, right? So just making sure that we take advantage of the reps in practice and then that it matches up with what we're doing on Sundays.
When you watched it, which was more concerning, the turnovers or the couple of plays where you missed guys that could have had big plays if the catch is completed?
You want to get it all fixed. I don't think that you look at any of it and are all right with it. You want to go out and play good football, and that's what I aim to do this week.
Are there plays where something, when you're looking at it after the fact, and you see something that popped open on the backside, where you just weren't going to see that in the construct of the play? Or what do you think, like when you see that Burks' coverage completely broke down on the one pick to Hopkins? Yeah,
there's certain areas where reads where you're picking a side, picking a matchup, and you're not going to be able to see the other side of the field. It sucks when that happens, right? Whenever you are on the wrong side, but you see it happen across the league every week. I'm watching multiple games, and it happens, right? It's just part of playing the game. Feels good when you're on the right side, and then obviously sucks, when it happens on the backside.
Are there other times where there was maybe a check down opposite what you were looking at that maybe you could have gone to?
Man, you guys are trying to break down every play of the game, and there's a lot of areas where I want to be better and look forward to be better this week.
Ryan, as you went through the film, from a protection perspective, did you think that you guys figured some things out during the course of the game?
I thought those guys battled. We did some good things, and then obviously some areas where we want to be better. But I thought those guys battled. We knew going in that they were a good front, strong front, and be no different this week. Obviously, with Bosa, with Mack, some big guys inside, a good secondary, right? That's very active. Got some length outside with 43 Davis. J.C. Jackson obviously has had a good career so far and made a lot of big plays and got his hands on a lot of balls. Derwin James in the secondary, a guy who's very active. He's coming in a lot of pressures. He's efficient and disruptive when he comes on those pressures, and obviously has the range on the back end. So you look at the defense as a whole, and you see a very capable group with talent all over.
Well, Ryan, did you know prior to the fourth down field goal to make it 16-15, did you know on that third down that they were going to kick on fourth?
No.
So did you think you had 2 plays to get the first down?
Guys, I just want to move on to San Diego. I'm not going to answer any more questions about what happened Sunday. What happened Sunday happened. I'm not happy about it. No one in this building's happy about it. But at the end of the day, it's over. We can learn from it. We can move on. And if you have any questions about LA, I'm more than happy to answer.
With that, as you turn the page towards that game, it's one game that you had in this offense. Is it encouraging that you can get better knowing more time you have in the scheme?
Yeah, no question. That's the bright spot is feel like it's got to be better from here, right? So want to attack this week, come out, have a great week of practice and be ready to go on Sunday.
Like, I guess with DeAndre, not only in game, but maybe like after the first game, as you guys continue to try to get on the same page, what's the film watching process like?
Yeah, we got together on Monday and with the receiving unit and was able to go through the tape and kind of talk them through what I'm seeing and what I'm expecting on certain plays and make sure those things match up and match up consistently so that we can be effective and efficient moving forward.
Ryan, with your experience in this league, how have you grown in the mental process of exactly what you were saying about moving on and focusing on improving?
Yeah, you have to, see reality, but then also you can't dwell on things, whether positive or negative, whether you're coming off a great game or a game that wasn't your best. You have to be able to see things for what they were, see things that went well, what didn't go well, how can you be better, and then, take those things moving forward.
Obviously, there's not a complete transfer from one season to the next, but is there any level of frustration that this team hasn't won in a while?
Yeah, we played to win. Yeah, that's why we put in the hours, the blood, sweat, and tears, countless hours and sacrifices that we put in to play this game. So obviously we want to go out and want to win the game.
Ryan, not to drag you back to the New Orleans game, but new offense, new coordinator. What did you make of the game plan and how Tim called the game in New Orleans, and then as you guys look forward to calling the game this week, just how do you feel in the new offense as the new play caller?
Yeah, I think I'm very confident in Tim and what he's done up until this point, and excited to have another crack at it this week.
Ryan,
Do you feel like you have the same confidence that you had in 2019 and 2020 when the offense was very successful now?
Yeah, I'm totally confident in myself and my abilities and the guys around me. And I think that's what it comes down to is trusting yourself, trusting the guys around you, and then being able to make those plays when they come. Obviously, some room to improve from last week, but excited to attack those things this week and go out, execute the game plan, and play well on Sunday.
You kind of want this game to come fast, to get out there and.
Yeah, no question. As soon as I got on the bus, I was texting with Tim and just said, Sunday can't come fast enough. Just want to get back out there, want to play again as soon as possible. But have some work to do in order to be prepared and be ready to go. But yeah, definitely want to get out there and have an opportunity.
Conversations kind of back at the forefront after Aaron's injury. I know you've talked in the past about preferring grass. What specifically is it about grass that you prefer compared to turf?
It's just easier on your body. Your joints, your skin, like all of it. It's turf's just kind of hard on you. They've had a lot of improvements over the years, but at the end of the day, it's just harder on your body across the board.
Do you have a memory of a specific time turf was hard on your body that kind of stood out?
Every time you play on turf, you get in the shower after the game and you sting all over. Your joints hurt more the next day than they do after you play on grass. So that's kind of is what it is, though, right? There's a bunch of games, especially home games now going to be played on turf. So it's a fast surface, right? There's some benefits for it. You feel fast when you're on it. You move well. It's responsive, but at the same time, yeah, it's a little harder on your body.
You got to play this team relatively recently last year. You played most of that game. What from that performance can you take away looking to play them again this upcoming week?
Yeah, we battled. It was not a pretty game. I was kind of hobbling on one foot for most of the game. But our guys battled. We kept ourselves in it. Defense kept us in it. And then at the end of the game, we were able to drive down right when we needed to and go get a touchdown. So did some good things, but hope to be better this week. Thank you.
Thank you, Ryan.
Okay. Got a lot to talk about there, so we will do that coming up next. Caroline, Willy, D-Mase, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
It's a long summer. But don't worry. Hockey will be back soon. You'll hear every slap shot, save, hit, and of course,
Knocked down in front, rebound, and a score!
On your home for Smashville, 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app. Is it October yet?
Caroline Fenton here from my friends over at Black Tie Moving. And when you choose Black Tie Moving, you're going to get a highly awarded Inc. 500 company. We've all moved, we've all done it, and we all know it is just frankly not very fun. And it is time consuming and it can be stressful. But allow Black Tie Moving to take the stress out of moving for you. Because in my experience, I moved with Black Tie Moving about 2 months ago. And this was, we're going into football season. It's a busy time for me. I was not looking forward to the move. But when it came to moving day, Black Tie Moving took care of everything. I quite literally sat on the couch that they then moved, kicked my feet up, and they did everything for me. They took care of everything, and they could not have been nicer and could not have been more accommodating in the process. So I highly, highly, highly recommend moving with Black Tie Moving, and you can get free estimates by a local professional moving consultant. Just visit blacktiemoving.com or call 615-437-8401. That is 615-437-8401, and be sure to mention the promo code GAME, G-A-M-E, to score 10% off of your next move. I can say this with 100% certainty that it was the best move of my life when I moved with Black Tie Moving, so sit back and enjoy the best move of your life.
Nashville, we have an important decision to make on September 14th. We can elect a mayor who's even more progressive than the liberals ruining Nashville for decades, or we can elect a mayor who understands that Nashville needs a new direction. Our failing schools, our massive tax hike, out-of-control crime, and excessive spending has got to stop. If not, we'll end up like all those progressive cities that are now total disasters. If you don't vote, we can't win. Vote Alice Rowley for mayor today. Paid for by Save Nashville. Tom Landstreet, Treasurer.
We gather together in communities across the nation to remember and honor, to celebrate and support, to light the night. We are LLS, and when we walk, cancer runs. Find your local event at lightthenight.org.
At the Home Depot, Saturdays are about two things. The one-of-a-kind wood-fired flavor of a Traeger Ironwood XL grill. And football. That's right, Desmond Howard. Get fired up for the game in just a tap with Traeger's intuitive touchscreen. Then throw on your favorites and monitor the grill from anywhere with Wi-Fi technology. So you spend less time staring at the grill, which means more time for football. For football. Upgrade your Saturday with Traeger and the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
Blue Raider football lives on 93.3 Classic Hits.
Hey, this Saturday, the Blue Raiders return home for the first time this season to take on Murray State. Coverage begins at 5.
Your home for the Blue Raiders is 93.3 Classic Hits.
Hey Nashville, this is Vanderbilt football head coach Clark Lee. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game, and the Game Nashville app.
Definitely be easy to be a lot better than that. Tough to watch that film. I watched it, I think, 5 times over the Sunday, Monday. Kind of went through everything multiple times and looked at the areas where I can be better, where we can be better, and I think we nailed those down and excited to move forward.
That was Ryan Tannehill up at the podium, and he did not want to talk about Sunday. Be better in a lot of areas. What areas? All the areas. What did you see? I'm not talking about Sunday. We got a little bit of a peek behind the curtain, at least I felt, of what Ryan Tannehill is like as a dad. No more. No. That's enough. I'm putting my foot down. That's exactly what he did. No more questions about New Orleans. We're on to San Diego.
Well, Vrabel
LA.
did the same thing. He got to a point, and this is where I will defend Tannehill to a point. It got to the point where the questions were getting a little redundant, right? I think he was trying to be professional, be above board, and answer a certain amount of questions about Sunday, but it got to a point where it's like, okay, I realize it. I stunk. I told you at the beginning. It was hard to watch the film. That was the first thing he said. I've watched it 5 times. He knows he's got to be better. So at a certain point, I get the frustration. I totally get why all of our media wanted to ask about Sunday.
Those are questions
I get that.
needed
It's
to
the
be
first
asked.
game, and we've been waiting for months to have a game to talk about, and we're overreacting, as everybody does. We all admit that we do. But I don't mind him saying, look, let's move forward. Because Vrabel did the exact same thing during his press conference. And I'm not answering anymore about about the game Sunday. Let's talk about the Chargers.
Well, Vrabel was quick with his.
He got there quicker than Tannehill, who was trying to be more accommodating,
exactly.
I thought.
And as a player, you, at least from my experience, you don't mind talking about the prior game. But I think what sort of gets a player sort of a little agitated is that you're asking the same question, but you're asking it different. You know you're asking the same question. You want me to give you the answer that you're looking for, and I'm just not going to do that because I've already given the answer. Maybe do you want something different? I think that's what reporters should go up there do and sometimes say, listen, I know what you said over here, but I'm looking for a different answer. Yep. Because essentially that's what they're doing. And again, like Willie, I understand why it's done, but I'm just speaking from a player's perspective. I've heard, what happened against New Orleans 5 different times. Y'all all are asking the same questions, but y'all are asking it different. I get y'all got to ask them, but aren't y'all listening to the answers that I'm giving? Because it's answering what you want me to answer, but I'm not giving it to you the way you want it. You keep on asking me because you want the answer that you want, not necessarily the answer that I'm going to give.
And look, Tannehill can answer any question that's asked in any way that he wants to answer it. It's also the media's job to ask those questions.
Yeah.
It always frustrates me at press conferences, whether it's a question that I ask, whether it's a question that anyone asks. And people say, well, what did you expect them to say? I don't know. That's not my job. It's not my job to answer the questions. My job is to ask the questions. So, I think those are the most glaring, important, and highly prioritized questions to ask the quarterback coming off of a 0-touchdown, 3-interception performance is, what'd you see? What went wrong? What are you going to do to fix it? And how is this upcoming week going to be different? So, the media is doing their job. And I understand Tannehill's frustration. You could hear it in his voice. I didn't watch the press conference. We were just listening to it. You could hear in his voice utter frustration from lingering from the performance and from the questions, I'm sure. But what do we think overall from Tannehill? Because Vrabel is going to Vrabel, but what do we think from Tannehill?
In regards to the questions, how he answered the questions?
Overall,
or just his play and
where
everything.
He's at,
you know what?
The headspace that he's in.
I mean, people.
The accountability that he took. Did he take enough accountability?
I think what we got to realize is this: that players feel bad about losing, but we also have a short memory. We have to. We scream at players, have a short memory, move on to the next play or move on to the next game. And when we try to move on to the next game or the next play, we're brought back to the same game or that same play. Players hate losing. That's just the way it is. But we understand that after watching the film on Monday, after watching the film coming in, and then Ryan said again, listen, I watched film 5 or 6 times just trying to go over it. Once we do that, we gotta move by. We gotta move past it, because if we don't, we're gonna be stuck in that situation, and then we're not gonna be able to play to the max. We're not gonna be able to maximize our ability to play the game the next following week. Why? Because we're thinking about, oh man, I threw that pick to D-Hop. I should have thrown it a little bit further, but I threw it back shoulder. Now that's all I'm concerned about when the game come up, making sure, I'm cautious now. Instead of, listen, that happened. I got to have a short memory. That happened. I didn't want it to happen. It was ugly. I expect, and like Ryan said, I expect to play better this upcoming week. I expect us all to play better. I expect the Titans to play better than what they did the first week. Now, again, I said, yes, will it equal to the win? Will it equal to a win? I don't know. But I do expect this team to play a lot better than what they played against New Orleans.
I thought he was accountable. He's not a quote machine. I do think when he said, I watched the film 5 times, that ought to tell you that he wasn't happy with his play. I think he has said more than once since the game ended, he's got to play better. I don't think he put it on anybody else. I don't think he made any excuses. I also think it's unfair to ask a lot about it. Look, these are pretty good questions when you get down to it, about this play or that play, but I don't think the quarterback owes it to the media necessarily. Maybe on one example, but he was asked about 3 or 4 or 5 specific plays on what exactly did he see and break down. And so I could see him saying, look, I don't have time to sit. He could probably sit there for a half hour and talk about one play. But is that really his obligation? Like, he doesn't want to give away too much about what they are trying to do, right? So those are tough. Those are tough situations to be in, especially when he's coming in very frustrated and yet determined to put this bad game behind him.
Yeah, I'm sure he is frustrated. He should be frustrated. I'd be concerned if he wasn't frustrated coming off of that performance.
Yeah.
But, he was asked, I believe it was Jared that asked the question about the confidence. For me, it's where do you take this frustration? Because coming off of the 3-interception game against Cincinnati, that was your final game of the season. You almost had to sit with your angst and frustration for an entire offseason. But you also had time to put it behind you. You had time to take that frustration and not let it eat at you and use it as positive fuel for the next season. This is a quick turnaround that you don't really have time to sit in your frustration and to constantly be looking back at the New Orleans game and to, have that kind of lurking in your mind. So I do wonder, where does this frustration take him? Is this not going to let him shake his confidence when he lines up against the Chargers on Sunday? Is that going to be in the back of his mind? Because frankly, it can't be.
Well, you just hope that with his experience, it's not like he's a second or third year quarterback in this league. He's had some bad games in his career, I'm sure. Hell, the Cincinnati game was bad, but we saw how he bounced back the next following year, and it wasn't because of him that they were losing games. Hell, when he was starting quarterback, they were 7-2. and then they started to accrue all these injuries. But I never thought last year that his confidence was shaken because of shook because of the Cincinnati game. I don't think his confidence is shook because of this New Orleans game. He made some bad decisions, and he understands that. What he has to do, him being the veteran guy, he has to move past it, and that's what he's trying to do. But how does it look? Because I guarantee you, if he throws an interception, people are going to, look at it, his confidence is shot. Mm-hmm. No, it's not. His confidence is not shot. He just threw an interception. It has nothing to do with whether he feels confident or not throwing the football. He's going to throw another interception. Believe me. I hope he doesn't, but more than likely he's going to throw another interception.
Very few NFL quarterbacks throw 3 interceptions in a season.
Yeah, you're right. So, but that has nothing to do with his confidence. I think if you start to consistently see his play decline, then we can start talking about his confidence. I think it's too early to talk about it because we got to understand, he didn't play the last game of the season. He didn't play much of the second half of the season. So when he did play, he played well. So I can't see his confidence being shook after one bad performance this season.
I hope not.
Yeah.
I hope you're right. But coming up next, I want to get into some of your thoughts, your reaction from Ryan Tannehill's press conference, plus looking ahead to the Chargers. Where can Ryan Tannehill get a little help? And we'll get into that coming up next. Caroline, Willy, D-Mase. We are brought to you by Zen Sports. Start earning cash rewards on your bets today. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-889-9789. Terms and conditions apply. Must be 21 or older and in Tennessee to bet. Jonathan Hutton, Hot Mike with Hutton and Withrow will join us in 20 minutes. Caroline, Willy, D-Mase. 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
102.5 and 106.3, The Game is live and local.
And now, let's meet the starting lineup.
Robbie and Rex Road 6 to 9.
Big time performance, best part of the team.
Chase McCabe 9 to 11.
An unrestricted free agent.
Caroline, Willy, and D-Mase 11 to 2.
Got the big contract.
The Velvet Touch.
Talk about Hall of Famers. And Stillman and Company 2 to 6.
Kept going for it.
And don't forget, we're your home for all things Smashville.
He scored!
Nashville's best sports talk. 102.5 and 106.3 The Game.
Happy Wednesday, everyone. Hump Day it is. And listen, we are one day closer to NFL football Thursday night. That's right. So if you're betting, you need to be betting with Zen Sports, which is making sports betting better with cash rewards. Earn 3% cash back on your betting volume each month, and an additional 5% cash back on your betting volume for your first 15 days on Zen Sports when using referral code CORNER, CORNER. And now also earn up to an additional $100 gift card to the Corner Pub when you make your first bet using referral code CORNER. This Sunday, join Zen Sports at the Corner Pub downtown location on 5th Ave, right off Broadway, to watch the NFL games, meet the team, and get some free fantastic food. All you have to do is sign up using code CORNER, and Zen Sports will also give you a gift card equal to double the amount your first bet, up to $100. You will receive your gift card via email within 48 hours of making your first bet or when you arrive at the Corner Pub. Plus, you get to watch the game on the biggest LED screen in Nashville. Absolutely right. Sounds like betting just got better. Gambling problems? Call 1-800-889-9789. Terms and conditions apply. Must be 21 years or older to bet here in Tennessee.
Don't miss a minute of football action while getting up close and personal to the future stars of the PGA Tour. Join Penn Entertainment on site at the Simmons Bank Open, promoting Penn Play and their sports online betting platform. Stop by their tent in the Arctic Tailgate Village during the tournament to learn more and have a chance to win some prizes and giveaways. Must be 21 or older and in Tennessee. For problem gambling support, call Tennessee Redline, 1-800-899-9789.
The two most sought-after, most prestigious names in bridal jewelry come together for one epic event next weekend at Genesis Diamonds.
Tacori and Viraggio, the world's premier designers, will be showing off their entire collections. All the latest designs, many showcased for the first time ever, with up to $5,000 in savings.
See the latest from Viraggio, handcrafted on Fifth Avenue in New York by true artisans with unmatched attention to detail and the highest quality standards. Viraggio is the only ring that can be customized for every woman's specific desires. Come explore the entire Viraggio collection at Genesis.
If you're engagement ring shopping, this is a once-a-year event you can't miss. Other jewelers aren't even allowed to carry these iconic American-made brands.
Also for this event, Genesis is showcasing an expanded selection of GIA-certified diamonds in all shapes and sizes.
Next weekend, September 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. Take advantage of special incentives, zero-interest financing, and as much as $5,000 in savings. Only at Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs.
With no fees or minimums and no overdraft fees, banking with Capital One is the easiest decision in the history of decisions. Kind of like choosing Derek Jeter as the pinch hitter for your baseball team.
Jeter, you're in. We need a home run.
I'll give it a try. I've swung a bat once or twice.
That's out of here. Yep, even easier than that. With no fees or minimums and no overdraft fees, is it even a decision? That's banking reimagined. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank for details. Capital One NA, member FDIC.
Nashville's radio version of The Odd Couple.
You would trade for the third pick? Yeah, I don't know that I would do that.
Robbie Stanley and Joe Rexrode are Robbie and Rexrode.
I'm here for the discussion. I'm not. It's a good one.
It's absurd. Robbie and Rexrode. Mornings from 6 to 9.
Win the games. When they get in the playoff, they'll have a chance to.
Presented by TJ Anderson Homes of Benchmark Realty on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app. This is Caroline, Willy, and D-Mase on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Tune in to 93.3 Classic Hits this Saturday for MTSU football. The Blue Raiders will kick off at 6 p.m. at home against Murray State. Pre-game beginning at 5 p.m. You can hear all the coverage on the 93.3 Classic app and at 933classichits.com. Wanted to get into some of your thoughts and reaction from Ryan Tannehill's press conference. Our phone lines are driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. Brandon Texan says, maybe I'm still upset about Sunday, but that whole press conference was infuriating. He's the quarterback. That was about as bad as it was Sunday. I do wonder, what did people expect and what did people want? Like, did you want Ryan Tannehill to get up there and say, I absolutely blew it, I was awful, I stunk, it was on me, and I'm sorry? Because I do feel like, in as many words, Ryan Tannehill did show his frustration, and I don't want to use the word remorse because I feel like that might sound a little bit dramatic, his frustration and responsibility for the game on Sunday. But I don't know where I don't know how you could step away from that press conference feeling like it was infuriating. The performance was infuriating. I understand.
But why would you be infuriated with him? He was peppered by a bunch of very specific questions. Did you want him to go through the film of the entire game? Because that's what basically he was being asked to do. I don't know. That's not the time and place.
He was asked about the 3 interceptions and what he saw, which I think is a fair question.
And the first time he was asked it, he gave a fair answer. But about the 6th time he was asked about it, and this play, or what about the coverage breaking down on the backside of this play? I think that's not. It's time to move forward at a certain point. I thought they were. It got beyond. I think you got to have a feel for when a person is sort of done looking back on the first game in that much of a specific way. I can see the frustration. You have to put yourself in the shoes of the athlete. I think in that situation.
And every athlete understands that. Listen, these questions need to be asked, of a guy. They understand it. We understand that. But I think the person that's doing the interview or asking the questions need to understand too that, listen, he basically just answered your question, or she just answered your question. So if they get a little testy, you got to understand why, unless you're not reading or listening to the room. and you just want, and I get it.
I don't
you
blame
want
Ryan
your
Tannehill for
you
getting
want your
testy.
question to be answered.
Yeah.
This is a question that you spent, the night before gathering, and these are the bullet points that you want to, sort of hit or ask. So when you get your opportunity, you're going to ask that question. But you also, again, you got to read the room and say, well, has this question already been answered? You sort of check it off. And, unfortunately, you may have 3 or 4 questions, and all 3 or 4 of those questions may have gotten answered but not asked by you. So in turn, you feel, I still got to ask this question. And I don't want it to seem as if the player doesn't recognize what's going on in the job that the person, the interviewer or interviewee is asking to a player or anybody else. So we understand it, but it can get a little testy, especially after a loss, because you're not asking that many questions after a win about the game prior.
And that's when Ryan Tannehill said, hey, I'm not answering any more questions about New Orleans. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Understood. And from there, the only questions that was asked about New Orleans was really about the play calling, which is a fair question to ask and isn't necessarily specific to New Orleans, but more so about the sample size that we have and moving forward. But look, I believe, and I'll defend the people who are asking the questions, that those are questions that need to be asked. And again, Ryan Tannehill has every right to answer those questions however he would like. It's his press conference.
Yeah.
I mean, he can answer it however he'd like.
But not,
the media
but not
still
repeated
has the
questions. I thought there was a repeated question to a point where, like you said, the frustration came from he felt like he had already answered, generally speaking, the questions. And then the specifics of a play, like if you want to have film study or something, that's not his responsibility. He's not going to take anybody into the film room, because to really answer that question, that's what you need to do. You need to get to all 22. You'd have a classroom, have all the media sitting there and say, okay, let's go through this play, because you could do it honestly for 10 to 15 minutes on one play.
Yeah.
And so in that setting, he's not going to be able to give the answer that would really be of substance. So it's easier to say, look, I got to be better. I got to be better.
Yeah, you do as a player. Again, I've always understood both sides, even while I was playing. I always understood both sides of the coin. Me as a player having to answer these questions, I knew that, I was in control of the interview, not the person asking the question. So if I wanted to take 10 minutes to answer the question, I could. If I wanted to take 3 minutes just to think about the question before I answered it, that's what I did, because you want to ask me and you want my answer. I'm not in a rush to give you an answer, but I am going to give you an answer. So, I mean, it happens in situations like this. Again, I understand both sides of it. But after a loss, I think players want to get, they know they have this obligation to answer these questions, but they want to get through it as quickly as possible.
I get it.
And get on to the next game. But the answer I did want to hear more, and I don't know who asked the question. It was just more about the offense and the flow of the offense. I really wanted to know, did Ryan Tannehill feel comfortable all day running the offense? Was he in tune with the offense? Was he and Tim Kelly on the same page?
And he's not going to tell you.
Yeah,
and
he's
that's
not.
the problem.
And
it was asked, I believe it was maybe Sam Phelan from A to Z Sports, asked about Tim Kelly's play calling and his comfort in the new system and moving forward, how the plays are going to be called. And Ryan answered it in complete coach speak, complete, non-committal, non-headline kind of response of, Tim's been doing a great job. We have a lot of confidence in him, really like him, whatever he said was very, very coach speak. But I would agree, D-Mase, that's what I'm interested to know is what is your comfort level in this offense? I know that you say you're confident in your abilities as a quarterback. I understand that. But what is your confidence and comfort with this system, with these players?
Yeah, as a player, you have confidence, or at least you should have confidence in yourself. But that doesn't necessarily all the time equals to confidence in what's being called. It's, okay, I got confidence in myself that I can go out here and play this game at a high level. But maybe, just maybe, I'm not comfortable with some of the play calling. Prime example, it's come out that, Aaron Rodgers on quick plays didn't like for his offensive lineman to cut because he said, listen, if you cut and I can't throw the ball, now I'm exposed to being hit, because that guy's going to get up.
Yeah.
So that's probably something that Aaron wasn't comfortable with in regards to the blocking scheme, how you block a quick pass. Don't cut, because if I can't hit my guy, now this guy's gotten up, you're out of position, and bam, I get hit. I'm not saying that because of what happened, but it has come out now that he didn't like sort of that way of blocking when it came to the quick game. And there may be some things that Ryan Tannehill is not quite comfortable with yet in regards to maybe how they're blocking a certain play or how the play is supposed to be read. Maybe he's not comfortable with a few things, but that's why you go back into the film room. He said, listen, I text Tim Kelly right after the game, like, listen, what do we need to do? I can't move. I can't move quick enough past this game, but what are the things that we need to do to be better? And that's maybe something that he's going to go and talk with Tim about. They said, listen, I'm not comfortable with this, but I love this. And that's how you build that quarterback, offensive coordinator, quarterback's coach relationship, is you be honest with one another.
And look, that's concerning if your quarterback's not comfortable in a system.
It's not really, it's not concerning, because I don't think every quarterback likes every play that's called. And that's why you have this constant communication with the quarterback and the offensive coordinator. They will tell you, like, listen, these are the plays that I like. These are not the plays that I like. Just like receiver, I would go into meetings and coach say, are these some plays that you like? Okay, I like this play, I like this play, I like this play. That one, nah, I really don't. Okay, because ultimately, we want to make sure everybody on the field feel comfortable with what they're doing.
Let's get to Jonathan Hutton's thoughts on what he saw in New Orleans and looking ahead to the Chargers on Sunday. Jonathan Hutton, Hot Mike with Hutton and Withrow, will join us coming up next. The Titans home opener is this weekend, and we want you to tailgate with us downtown before kickoff. Join Jared Stillman, Chris Sanders, and D-Mase at Teddy's Tavern, located across from the Bridgestone Arena Plaza this Sunday from 9:30 to 11:30. They'll break down the Titans' Week 2 matchup against the Chargers and give you the latest updates before the game. Our award-winning NFL pregame show is presented by Parman Tractor and Equipment and the Beast Unleashed.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
Caroline Fenton for my friends over at Superbook Sports. Why bet with the big boys this football season? Instead, try your hand with the local book, Superbook Sports, this fall. Superbook Sports is the book next door, just a dedicated team of the best odds makers in Las Vegas, making sure that you get the best prices and parlays anywhere. And now Superbook will give you a bonus of up to $250 when you sign up and wager on the same day and use the promo code Caroline. My name, Caroline. So bet with the best and use promo code Caroline this football season with Superbook Sports. Visit superbook.com for terms and conditions. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Nashville Sounds Baseball lives on 94.9 The Fan. Catch every pitch.
Swing and a miss, strike three.
Every hit.
That's a base hit.
Every run.
Looking up, it's gone.
On your home for Sounds Baseball. 94.9 The Fan and The Fan app.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, your favorite drafts are poured at a frosty 29 degrees, and rare barrel-aged whiskeys are served just the way you want them. It's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch? Every day, from lunch to late night. Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Stick around after the sun sets. Twin Peaks is open really late. Wind down with bourbon and late-night bites.
Blue Raider fans, your home for all the MTSU football and men's basketball action is on 93.3 Classic Hits and 95.1 Classic Hits in the borough. Catch the action all season long with Chip Walters on the call. Go Blue Raiders!
Men, at the Tennessee Men's Clinic, our urologists and providers have been helping guys with erectile dysfunction and other sexual health issues for years. And unlike some, at the Tennessee Men's Clinic, we take a comprehensive approach to your sexual health. Our sole focus is to treat ED and related conditions. ED can be affected by a bunch of things, from hormones, prostate issues, medical conditions, and even simply aging. The fact is, most guys experience it at some point in life. If you're suffering with ED, it's extremely important to see a provider that understands how your medical conditions, hormone levels, and other factors can impact your ability to have sex. That's why you should come to the Tennessee Men's Clinic, where we have treatments that are effective in nearly 90% of cases. I can't tell you how many guys we've seen that thought their situation was hopeless, only to be wildly surprised. So give us a call today. We'll do some blood work with a T-check and a medical consult to give you the best shot at success. Call 615-208-9090 or go to TennesseeMen'sClinic.com. We have 2 offices, Midtown and Franklin.
Visit our website to learn more, including side effects. Treatments extra, results vary.
Live from the Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical Studios. WPRT FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne.
Ross Chastain will be first to finish in the Ally 500 at Nashville Super Speedway.
Nashville's exclusive home for NASCAR. 102.5 and 106.3.
Checkered flag is in the air.
Man, this is a win in the cup race.
The Game.
A Cromwell media station.
Covering your teams and the news of the day.
Ladies and gentlemen.
This is Caroline, Willy, and D-Mase.
Who is pleasant to listen to.
With Caroline Fenton, Willy Donick, and former NFL wide receiver Derek Mason.
You are hands down my favorite radio personalities of all time.
On 102.5 and 106.3, The Game, and the Game Nashville app.
With no further ado,
Caroline, Willy, D-Mase, 102.5, 106.3, The Game, and the Game Nashville app. We're live from the Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical Game Studios, and we are streaming live on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook Live every single day. Our video streaming is brought to you by Superbook. Download their app today and use promo code THEGAME. Joining us now on a Wednesday at noon, as he does every week, is Jonathan Hutton, Hot Mike with Hutton and Withrow. It is indeed Hutton o'clock, and Hutton, finally, we have real-life, actual football to react to.
Finally.
And it wasn't a great outing for the first football that we actually got to see a peek behind the curtain of. So, Hutton, you had 3 things, and I want to do this every week with you, of looking back at the previous game, looking forward to the week ahead. The Titans have the Chargers coming to town this Sunday. Your biggest takeaways from the previous week?
Yeah, and thank you. I always enjoy coming on the show, guys. And with the limited Titans discussion that I'm able to have, this is a great outlet where I can continue to dig up some things prior to doing TV on Sunday nights on Channel 5 for Sports Central. And this was a pretty easy reaction game. Honestly, it was awful on offense. I felt like they lacked direction offensively Sunday. It's week 1. I'm eager to see adjustments. I'm eager to see the offense evolve, including Tim Kelly, and see what the plan is for the Chargers. But, beyond the 3 interceptions, 50% of the drives went 3 and out. And no quarterback had more passes on first down in week 1 than Ryan Tannehill's 8 first down attempts throwing the football. That's intriguing because over the last couple of years, fans have been pulling their hair out about being predictable on first down, and it's a handoff to 22. In this case, it was Tannehill. And the context there is, everyone wanted to throw it on first down. Well, we saw what happens there, because when it's incomplete, the bind that 2nd and 10 or 2nd and 10 plus puts that offense in is important to note, especially with the way this offense is constructed. It's bad for any offense, but especially with the slower depth and the slower starters offensively that we see on the field. Look, the offense has scored 10 touchdowns total in the last 7 games. Now, that's a lot of Joshua Dobbs and Malik Willis at QB, but that is a nasty reality of what we saw last year. And with the 50% of drives 3 and out, it's week 1. Cincinnati, watch their offense go out, and 3 snaps came back to the sidelines in Cleveland. 67% of their offensive possessions. The Eagles went 3 and out 62% of the time. Minnesota, 55%. But with those examples of poor offensive consistency from last week, I think we all agree the Bengals, Eagles, and Vikings have plenty of reasons to say, it's just week 1. All quarterbacks, 2 at the top of their game for those 3 teams. They have receivers who won't be held down on a week-to-week basis. They're very versatile. I think the Titans, just watching the offense, they have bigger problems to overcome. They're slow. They're limited on options. Their biggest draft addition to the passing game was a running back. Their 3 plays of over 20 yards was to Derrick Henry on a screen and 2 plays to Nick Westbrook-Kine. And Tannehill completed more passes to Saints defensive backs than he did to Burks and Okonkwo combined. And the other part of this, guys, is this is with Derrick Henry combining for 107 total yards by halftime. In his career, we have witnessed 43 games of 100-plus yards from scrimmage by Henry. 43 games of total offense of 100 or more. The Titans have a 32-11 record when he does that. 7 of those 11 losses have been since week 9 of last season. And Sunday in New Orleans was Henry's 4th lowest second-half rushing total since we've anointed him king, or at least I have. The other 3 of those 4 were blowouts. So it was just different, and it was intentional. They willingly put it on Ryan Tannehill, and when it wasn't working, they didn't turn to Henry. They went to the well on reverses and double handoffs back to Tannehill, and he missed some layups there too in the passing game that would have worked had it been a better effort. But they put it on Tannehill. I say they because this isn't just Tim Kelly. Vrabel's teams are routinely slow on offense and light on points in week 1. NFL offenses are slow to begin this season for many reasons, but Vrabel's offense that he oversees as the head coach begins at a snail's pace. And last year I thought the snail's pace was routine offensively each week, and Sunday just felt like the same issues, except it wasn't about the offensive line or Derrick Henry not kickstarting and carrying the team. It was just a different version of what we're used to seeing based on the last 2 play callers and the plan.
It was frustrating to watch, and you bring up the offense and the turnovers and going to Tajay Spears, Derrick Henry on the sideline for majority of the second half, and also just the missed opportunities. Because aside from the interceptions from Tannehill, there were the passes, one that could have been intercepted very easily, and also, the missed pass to Tajay Spears in the sideline late in the game. The flea flicker where Ryan Tannehill simply just overthrew Okonkwo. I feel like those also get overlooked when we talk about Tannehill's, I guess, right word to use, woes on Sunday against New Orleans.
Yeah, and consider it's a 1-point game with all of that.
That is true.
With the 3 picks, all of it. And they started. If you want to recap the game, you also need to include the beginning of the game where they're gifted the turnover. They end up with 3 points. The next drive, they drive down to like the 15-yard line, and they can only get a field goal. They started fast again, and they only came away with 6 points. It was it's tough to compare last year to this year with everything. And every reason you can point to, but they just lost a close game again, and it's extremely frustrating to watch a defense that was so good that allowed 16 points. And oh, by the way, that defense forced New Orleans to also be a field goal team, lose in that fashion, given the opportunities that were right in front of them offensively.
What was your second thing, Hutton?
Well, the second was Henry. Just the snaps, 28 snaps total. He had 17 touches on the 28. Meanwhile, Spears is 33 snaps, I believe, 4 touches. One of those, Caroline, that you mentioned was the wheel route that out of the backfield that was incomplete on the sideline at the end there. But I just, if they're going to have Spears on the field and if they're going to point to him as an increase for the passing game and the production there, I think they've got to get him more involved. And this week gives them that opportunity. Henry, it's interesting. He's involved in the first half and not the second. I don't know how you don't continue to feed him if everything is great health-wise. And in week 1, it's not going to be any better than what we saw, given the production and how fast that he got going.
Third thing.
Hey, I want to emphasize it's week 1. It is a long season, and a lot of fan bases are are trying to figure out what went wrong, there are some shout-outs on performances that have been buried from New Orleans. What's real and what's not about Week 1, that's to be determined. But the Titans' offensive line featured a ton of questions, and last Sunday we saw some answers. The 3 sacks allowed ended Week 1 around the middle of the pack amongst all 32 O-lines, and the run game was solid. ESPN Analytics showed that the Titans' offensive line was one of the 5 best in Week 1. If you want to crunch those numbers, I thought it was a nice job overall from a group that we knew nothing about going into a season where they overhauled every spot for one reason or another. And the same goes for kicker. They have an answer there in Nick Folk. It gives them NFL range and confidence in that when they send him out, they expect 3 points when he trots back to the sideline. Vrabel played for 2 of his kicks at the end of the game instead of going for the first down or the touchdown late in the fourth quarter. Vrabel did that, and he has said time and time again he will go for the win as early as possible in any situation, and he didn't do that there. A couple of years ago in London, he's going for 2 and the win to end it there, and he didn't go for it when he had the opportunity deep in their territory. He kicked the field goal and then tried to get it back for another kick from Folk. It was just that day. And props to Arden Key, who should have had 3 sacks. He leaves with 2, and he was credited with 11 quarterback pressures, which currently leads the NFL.
We'll get more with Jonathan Hutton coming up next. Caroline, Willy, D-Mase. Hey, sign up for Silly Underdog Picks for your chance to win weekly prizes. Make your picks today at theGameNashville.com or the 1025 The Game app as Week 1 of the NFL kicks off this weekend. Silly Underdog Picks is presented by Volunteer Hose and Gasket and Superbook Sports.
You need to give Ryan Tannehill a 2-year extension.
There haven't been too many coaching changes for the Predators.
And your source for Nashville sports.
I think that's what the Titans need.
Players who can score.
We are Nashville's best sports talk. 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Let me tell you about Loan Pronto. Once again, Loan Pronto has their method of helping people right now who are looking to buy a new home. You need cash right now. That's the name of the game. You want to make sure you make the down payment that you want to make. That's where Loan Pronto's Dream Home Bridge Loan can help you tap your equity so you get that cash and you can make a clean offer on that new home with the cash to cover the down payment. So you can go after the house you want to with no contingency. Then when you sell your current house, the bridge loan completely disappears. So don't put off the dream. Let Loan Pronto help you leverage your equity so you can get the cash to make a solid, clean offer. That's the name of the game right now. Call Loan Pronto, 615-499-5780. That's 615-499-5780, or go to loanpronto.com and find out about the Dream Home Bridge Loan. That's 615-499-5780. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166-1781, subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
At Mercedes-Benz of Music City, a healthy and productive culture takes a day-to-day discipline. Here's Sam Cavett, General Manager, with a few thoughts.
Mercedes-Benz has its standard, and we have Dream Motor Group standards. They're definitely on the same level, but I feel like we challenge ourselves at least as much as Mercedes-Benz challenges us. It's a genuine motivation to take care of customers, and we see it in the customer reviews.
Live the dream at Mercedes-Benz of Music City, mbofmc.com.
When the game goes into overtime, but the game goes into overtime. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Pick up Bud Light at your local convenience store today. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
You know it's going to happen, and when your car needs service or repair, remember Mitchell's Mr. Transmission on Gallatin Road, just north of Briley Parkway. Now here's Jim Mitchell.
Our fleet vehicle program is a great benefit to all the fleet companies in Nashville. We are able to get their vehicle back on the road a lot quicker than the downtime of most dealers and most general repair shops, simply because we have the transmissions available. We're able to put priority on their vehicles to get them back on the road quickly.
You know it's going to happen, and when your car needs service or repair, remember Mitchell's Mr. Transmission on Gallatin Road, just north of Briley Parkway.
Nashville's Best Deals is a great place to save cash fast. Get up to half off or more on dining and entertainment at thegamenashville.com/deals. Check back often for new featured deals and save money now at thegamenashville.com/deals.
It's time for another Kubota Field event hosted by Coleman Tractor of Nashville. Our biggest sales event of the year will take place on Thursday, September 21st at the Nashville Gun Club during the Shooting Hunger Sporting Clays Shoot. Stop by our booth to learn all about Kubota. Zero-turn mowers, utility vehicles, and more. Take advantage of Kubota's competitive financing offers, receive a coupon for up to $250, plus enter to win prizes. Try it and buy it at Coleman Tractor of Nashville during the Shooting Hunger Sporting Clays Shoot at the Nashville Gun Club, Thursday, September 21st. The event kicks off at 7:30 a.m.
Want to weigh in on the conversation? It's a brain booster. Slide into our DMs. Or just text or call at 615-737-1025. Our phone line is driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Having some fun in the midday.
Okay, that's really fun.
This is Caroline, Willy, and D-Mase.
It's a good source of energy because it's live.
On 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Caroline, Willy, D-Mase. We are brought to you by Zen Sports. Start earning cash rewards on your bets today. Gambling problem, call 1-800-889-9789. Terms and conditions apply. Must be 21 or older and in Tennessee to bet. Jonathan Hutton, Hot Mike with Hutton and Withrow is with us now.
Now, Hut, just listening to your stats last segment about Derrick Henry, and you're absolutely right in regards to if he's a part of the offense, the percentages of them winning goes up. But I think those numbers we're looking at, that was the old Derrick Henry. I think the new Derrick Henry, it's a little bit different. And I think they choose to not sort of have him out there as much. One is because what have fans have been screaming for the last 2 or 3 years? You're so predictable. Running with Derrick Henry on first down, running with him on second down, and then you get in third down, everybody knows what you're doing. I think the Titans believe this. One, Derrick Henry is still a good back in this league. Again, he still may be the best runner of any back out there. But he doesn't hit the holes as quick as a Tyjae Spears would, which means, prime example, there was a play, I think it was the third quarter, fourth quarter. Tyjae Spears gets the ball. He bounces out outside and picks up 19 yards. That's a play Derrick Henry would have probably picked up 4 because of the quickness of a Tyjae Spears that's able to elude a defender and has the speed to get outside. We all know Derrick Henry is a build-up back, and it may take him a little bit longer nowadays to hit that hole. And with this offensive line, they're progressing, but they're still not where they need to be.
Look, I'm not disagreeing with your take, Mace. 2 things, though, that come to mind as I'm listening there. Mm-hmm. First, why run it back with Tannehill and Henry being the guy if you're not going to use him? And he was working in the first half. I mean, he was their offense in the first half. And if it's Spears that's going to hit the yards better, use him more. They gave him the football 3 times in the backfield. 4 touches should have been. I mean, they did throw an incomplete to him late. I mean, there
were 2. There were 2 plays that arguably could have been touchdowns to Spears.
Yes.
That one I thought was somewhat catchable in the first quarter, where it goes through his hands.
Yeah,
it would have been a heck of a job to hang on and take the hit, but if he hangs on, it's a touchdown. And then obviously in the fourth quarter, so they absolutely game planned to have Spears featured in the game plan. I thought that was very telling.
Yeah, and it's not as much about turn around and give it to 22 every play. Mm-hmm. It's when he's on the field for 28 snaps, he's getting the football 17 times. I mean, it's pretty evident if he's on the field, he's getting the ball. And Spears is the opposite. 4 touches. They threw it to him a couple more times, as we've mentioned. 4 touches on 33 snaps. I can't disagree with what you're saying, Mace, based on how you watched the game. But Henry was effective, and that's pretty much the only player who was effective on Sunday.
Well, let me throw a couple.
Give it to him more than 5 times.
Mm-hmm. Let me throw a couple of reasons why that might be, and I see your point, right? If you're going to have Spears in there, let's get him the ball. And I do think if he makes one of those 2 catches, then we're maybe have a little bit of a different narrative here.
No doubt.
But let's take the first play of the season. Okay? They get the great play by Hooker. They get the ball. It's 1st and 10. They are in two tight end set. Henry in the backfield, behind center. It's going to Henry. Whoops. False start. Now it's 1st and 15. So what happens? Henry goes off the field. Here comes Spears. It's 3 wide receivers. So and that happened twice on the first drive. So there were a number of situations where, for one reason or the other, I think they may have planned on having Henry in there more, but they get into a passing situation, and it's Spears on the field. And so if Spears is your running back in the obvious passing downs, he's not going to get the ball thrown to him or handed to him that many times. So that's an explanation I have of why he's on the field and doesn't get the ball, because they're throwing the ball.
I'm perfectly fine with Spears being on the field in passing downs. Henry needs to be on the field more in passing downs. The longest offensive play of the game was to Derrick Henry on a pass.
Right, on 1st down.
Yep, but
which is when he catches all of his passes on 1st down, screens mostly, right? And those are they need to keep doing that, because they're getting huge plays on 1st and 2nd down when they throw the screens to Henry. But he is not a guy that lines up and catches passes on 3rd down or obvious passing situations.
I'm totally okay with needing to pass based on offensive line and operation issues there. But in the passing game, Derrick Henry is their biggest threat other than Spears. And unless you're going to throw to Hopkins 20 more times than what they did, he's the only one that's targeted. So I would prefer, even on passing downs, even though he's a great running back, Henry is a threat on passing downs as well, the stiff arms and everything else. So I just didn't understand the concept of running downs, Henry, passing downs, Spears, and you mix it in just a bit with Henry, and that ends up being your longest play of the day. That needs to happen more. For an offense that lacks explosive plays, the explosion is in the backfield. I would think they would go to the explosive players like Derrick Henry and soon to be Spears, or at least we believe them when they tell us that.
I was encouraged that they had a number of packages where they had Spears and Henry on the field. So my big question to you, Hut, is do you want the offense to grow out of what it has been? Like, it is easy to say, let's just keep doing what we've been doing. Let's just hand it to Derrick 350 times. Let's play great defense, and let's see where we're going. But I think that Tim Kelly was tasked at this stage of Henry's career, based on the effectiveness of Henry and the offense all through last year, and there were reasons for it, but I think he's trying to add a layer. He's trying to add a level, and to do that, there might have to be some growing pains. And it was, when if you're talking pass-fail, right, which I didn't take classes. I probably should have taken more classes at Vanderbilt, pass-fail, rather than get a C-.
Yeah.
But they failed on Sunday, right? But they're trying to lay the foundation. I guess my point is they're trying to lay the foundation for something that has a higher ceiling than last year. Is that a fair theory? Like, they passed more. They passed more on 1st down than they ran on Sunday. To me, that's an attempt to grow, right? That's an attempt to get out of the predictability. And part of the reason is, like I said, they got illegal procedures 1st and 15, so it's harder to run.
Yes, and that's been an issue. I'm fine with that concept, but I'm not. I just don't understand in a 1-point game where your defense is holding the opponent to 16 total. If it's not working, it's not working. Whether it's on Tannehill or not for the 3 picks, he threw the 3 picks. He's missing some layups. And I would perceive a layup in this offense to be Derrick Henry, regardless of how he touches the ball. I want, in that type of game, just go to what was working. And I saw 107 yards of total offense from 22 in the first 2 quarters. And the lack of production in the second half was the 4th lowest total. And I mentioned this, the 3 others are in blowout situations, either on the Titan side or the opponent side. So it's I'm fine with the philosophy changing up a bit, but in the moment, there will be moments, and we've seen Vrabel go for the win and go for the touchdown, go for the first down instead of kicking it. This game didn't dictate that because he didn't trust his offense.
Mm-hmm.
I trust Derrick Henry in the second half because I saw it in the first half against the Saints defense. In the moment, I'm fine with the concept evolving, but to win that game, they didn't trust Tannehill in that moment. They didn't trust the first down even. They trusted 2 kicks instead of 1 play to get you 7 points. I would argue that in that game, Derrick Henry had a better opportunity than any other player on the field based on usage when he was actually in between the lines.
And do you think that the Titans have the personnel to run this Bill O'Brien, New England, Tim Kelly offense?
No, not if the receivers aren't going to get separation. They're slow, lack explosiveness. They're targeting one guy in 1 week, vastly more than the others. And the second targeted receiver is Nick Westbrook-Akine. So, and then that's fine, by the way. I'm not knocking him. But Burks and Okonkwo are paired with Spears as the young talent that should be improving and featured more. And, maybe opportunities were there for a variety of reasons. The big part is that the Saints were all over the wide receivers, even when they were making plays.
All over them.
All over them. And that's credit to their defense. Is also the lack of explosion and speed and quickness and the ability to get open in this league that we see from the top offenses. The Miami Dolphins against this Chargers defense, Caroline, it was amazing what they were doing in the pass game.
And their wide receivers are amazing.
Exactly.
They have 2 of them.
No doubt. I would imagine it's a difficult game to scout if you're the Titans coaches.
Yeah,
you don't have that personnel.
You don't do what they do. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
That's the challenge of this game.
And the Chargers offense went 3 and out 30% of their possessions against Miami, and they accomplished that by actually sticking to the run game, which surprised me. Only 3 teams ran the ball 40 times or more in week 1, and the Chargers were one of those 3.
Partially because it was a high possession game, and there were a lot of offensive plays by both teams. It was kind of a fun game.
Yeah,
very different type of game.
But the Carr it had a second half where he wasn't touched all that much by the Titans pass rush. He had 8 completions of at least 15 yards. Tua had 17 completions for 15 yards or more against this Chargers defense last week. I don't foresee, Caroline, to answer your question about this style, the Titans aren't doing that. They're not having those types of plays, even though the Chargers allowed them to the Dolphins. So I'm just not seeing the translation based on the personnel. Even if they want to throw more and be less predictable, that's totally fine. But to be less predictable, you've also got to run Spears more when he's on the field because it was screaming pass if it was just him versus run when it's Henry. And that was evident based on who they were using, going back to Mace's point. The best options I felt like Sunday were in the backfield, and I think that's the same thing going into the Chargers, even if they want to throw the football more.
Hutton, you're the best. We appreciate you. We'll chat next week.
Always enjoy this, guys. Have a great rest of the week, and can't wait for Saturday and Sunday.
All right, thanks, Hutton. You too. Coming up next, I want to get into Willy's thought there. Derrick Henry's usage, how this offense can evolve, and is that the best thing for the Tennessee Titans? And we'll get into that coming up next. Caroline, Willy, D-Mase. Hey, tune in for Nashville Sounds Baseball today at 5:35 p.m. on 94.9 The Fan. The Sounds take on the Charlotte Knights, AAA affiliate of the Chicago White Sox. Sounds Baseball, 94.9 The Fan, presented by Farm Bureau Health Plans and Family Leisure.
New home. New energy. Same Blue Raiders.
99 yards! Touchdown, Middle Tennessee!
Catch every game for MTSU on 93.3 Classic Hits. Coach Rick Stockstill is poised to lead his team to yet another bowl appearance.
We're really excited about this opportunity.
Your home for the Blue Raiders is 93.3 Classic Hits and the Classic Hits app.
Caroline Fenton here for my friends over at Sean Hammond's Jiu-Jitsu Academy. Hey, staying in shape can be hard, but it is so much easier when you're actually fun and enjoying the workout. And I always enjoy my workouts at Sean Hammond's Jiu-Jitsu Academy because they supply a very safe and family-friendly environment, and they've got classes daily. They have all kinds of classes: Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, cardio kickboxing, ladies and kids programs, and so much more. And look, if you've never tried Jiu-Jitsu and you're intimidated of trying it and you're saying, hey, this is a competition Jiu-Jitsu Academy, I can't be going there. Trust me, I am nowhere near a competition level Jiu-Jitsu-er, and I couldn't feel more welcomed and had the best time at Sean Hammond's Jiu-Jitsu Academy. I highly recommend it. It is so much fun. The people are fantastic, and I can't recommend them enough. They have classes for men, women, and kids of all ages, and you'll gain knowledge in self-defense, get a great workout, and get in the best shape of your life. They're located at 2909 Armory Drive in South Nashville, so call Sean Hammond's Jiu-Jitsu Academy today to set up your free trial and tell them Caroline sent you. Learn more online at SeanHammondsBJJ.com. Sean Hammond's Jiu-Jitsu Academy, where your journey begins.
We got a good thing growing at the Nashville Fair. We offer nightly music, wrestling, cultural arts, barnyard animals, dinner shows, games, competitions, classic fair foods, and thrilling rides. Join in and explore the fun at your Nashville Fair, the only fair in Nashville. Now through September 17th at the Fairgrounds Nashville. Buy tickets online and save at nashfair.fun. Come on out and grow with us at the Nashville Fair.
Nashville, we have an important decision to make on September 14th. We can elect a mayor who's even more progressive than the liberals ruining Nashville for decades, or we can elect a mayor who understands that Nashville needs a new direction. Our failing schools, our massive tax hike, out-of-control crime, and excessive spending has got to stop. If not, we'll end up like all those progressive cities that are now total disasters. If you don't vote, we can't win. Vote Alice Rowley for mayor today. Paid for by Save Nashville. Tom Landstreet, Treasurer.
It's raining in Austin. We're back on All-Star Sports Radio. Celebrating their 30th year, our sportsbook and casino sponsor, BetUS.com, is going big.
That's right, Austin. Sports bettors can win a new truck, get the industry's biggest 125% sign-up bonus, and even get a Now you're talking, Austin. They also have live dealers and live betting on sports, including racetrack.
Get started today at BetUS.com, where the game begins.
Vanderbilt football lives here.
This Saturday, it's Vandy and UNLV from Las Vegas. Kickoff at 6 p.m. Central. Coverage starts at 4:30.
Your home for the Commodores is 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hey, this is Pekka Rinne. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
When it comes to Derrick Henry's usage, is there kind of a plan before the game about how much you want to make sure Derrick plays or how many times he wants to get it, or is it adjustments throughout the game that end up with how much Derrick plays and how much he gets it?
I think that's probably goes by the game and in a feel for what we think, and how things are going. I think we want to make sure that, guys are getting the ball, Derrick at the top of that list, and Hop and Traylon and Chig and Tajay. So, trying to create opportunities for them and then see how it goes. Just like the screen to Derrick is something that we've always had, and, that's been a good play for us. So making sure that we, get some of those things called that we've had success with, in the past.
There goes Mike Vrabel, and he says not using Derrick Henry as much in the second half, using more of Tajay Spears was more so based off of a feel for the game. But I don't know if we were watching a different game, because I thought that taking Derrick Henry off the field had nothing to do with the feel for the game. Because Derrick Henry was ballin'. He was your best offensive player in the first half. So taking him off the field was stupid, in my opinion.
To me, it's down in distance. Mm-hmm. When I went back and looked at why that happened, that is my answer. That they went into the game from the very start. You could see what the game plan was. This is, again, my amateur eyes. just trying to answer the question that you and a lot of people have been asking. Why less Derrick Henry than normal? Philosophically, my answer is I think they're trying to grow. They're trying to add a layer to the offense. The offense hasn't been good enough. Even though Derrick Henry had a very good year last year, it was not a good offense. It wasn't his fault, but I think less touches but more efficiency, added dimension with Spears, that is part of the answer. So how did they go about that? What's the situation? When it was 1st and 15, for example, the one I used, the very first play of the game, they get an illegal procedure on, I believe it was a Conquo, 1st and 15. So they go from 2 tight ends and a Derrick Henry formation to a 3 wide receiver Spears formation.
Which
and
makes it very obvious what you're doing. And on a 1st and 15, it probably is pretty obvious
well,
what
but
you're doing.
Okay, and this is, again, where I'm not an offensive coordinator, but you're hoping to create matchups. You're hoping to create maybe a little bit of the unexpected. You're less predictable throwing on first down. They threw, if I got this right, they had 26 first down plays. They threw on 16 of them. They ran on 10. Maybe they're trying to have a little bit of element of surprise. You've had all summer where everybody's been saying they run it on first down. That's all they do. They're predictable. It's Derrick Henry on first down. So the combination of trying to be a little different, trying to grow, and also it's 1st and 15 several times in the game dictates that there's less Derrick Henry on the field. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but I'm trying to assess why that happened. And my question is, in 4 weeks, will this be a better offense than they have been because of it? Because here's what happened in a lot of situations, Derek. They went first down, 3 wide, Spears on the field, but they didn't get great matchups. They didn't execute very well. The guy wasn't open. You know, they forced it to Hopkins. They had some plays that were knocked down where they didn't scheme their way into a lot of stuff. Like, take the other side. There were a lot of times where Olave, they were able to sort of scheme him open where it didn't look like anybody was even covering him. Like, he had a really nice game where 4 or 5 catches weren't even contested, right? I was looking for a little bit more of that from the passing game, and I'm hoping that will get better. But it wasn't. Like, it was not an effective offense on Sunday. I'm just trying to think what they might be thinking. But I would love to hear Derek's take on, because you've been digging through that film, I know, the last couple of days.
Yeah.
Probably not as much as Ryan Tannehill, who watched it 5 times.
Not.
But when you saw them line up in their formations, so how did you try to answer that question?
It's easy for us to sort of, give our thoughts on the day after the game, or even while it's going. We're not truly seeing or feeling what's going on in the game. Everybody's throwing out this number. Derrick Henry was, he was having a big day.
Right, he had 100 yards at halftime. Yeah.
Half of those yards was one play. So what is that?
59.
So what is that telling us?
Or 46, right?
Yeah, 46 was one play. 46. So we're talking about almost half of his yardage was one play. So he wasn't on fire as much as we thought he was running the football. Now he did some things that in the run game. I think his longest in the game was 18, but he had 2 snaps in a row,
which was also in the first half.
Yeah, which he got like quarter. 6 yards, and then he picked up another 6 yards, tough yards. But that's when they were already behind the chains. It was like it started off 1st and 15 or 1st and 20, and he picks up half of the yards. But now it's 3rd and 10 plus, and now you got to go to the pass. You got to take him off the field. The flow of the game probably wasn't going the way that the offensive coordinator or the head coach thought it should go. We're looking at it. We are looking at it from just like a microcosm of what the whole game was. He was good the first half, but as Jared would say, we're box watching, because if you watch the game, that was one play. The other plays, he was okay. But is he limited to one
explosive play a game? Like, who's to say he couldn't have had another explosive play?
Well, they tried the same screen in the second half.
Yeah,
and it was covered.
It didn't work. But they would have had explosive plays. Third play of the game, or 4th play of the game, they run this boot with Chick Conquo coming underneath. Well, Ryan Tannehill had already predetermined where he was going to throw the ball, and that was Chigakonkwo. If he hadn't predetermined where he was going to throw the ball and just read the defense, as he typically does, he would have hit, I think it was Tajay Spears for a touchdown. He was wide open running down the right side of the field, their sideline. But because he had already predetermined where he was going to throw it, that's a big play miss. There were several big plays other than from the running game that was missed. I think now that I had an opportunity to go back and watch this, the play calling wasn't an issue. It was not the issue. Them playing Derrick Henry not as much wasn't the issue. That wasn't the issue, people. The issue was our quarterback didn't hit the plays that he needed to hit. He hit that play to Nick Westbrook-Ikhine down the sideline. That's a touchdown, 7 points. He hit the one with Tajay Spears, the first one. If Tajay catches that, it'd be a tough catch. But that's another 7 points potentially. That's 14 points. You missed Chigakonkwo on another one. That's 21 points. You miss another one on the left side, Tajay Spears. That's 28 points. So we got 28 points that they left on the field. And this is what Vrabel was telling them in the meeting Monday. We left 28 points out on the field. This doesn't have a damn thing to do with play calling. Because now that I've looked at it, Tim Kelly did a pretty good job at calling plays. Our quarterback didn't do a good enough job executing those plays.
But at what point do you have to abandon that and just go with what's working? Because if your quarterback can't hit a receiver in the hands,
but you can't tell me that.
The
but
two
they
touchdowns
was
were in the fourth quarter. The two of those plays that you just said were in the fourth quarter with the game on the line. It's wide open. If your quarterback hits it, then I think Tim Kelly's a hero. He's a genius.
It's a different narrative.
Because
we're all
winning.
talking about something different now. Because if that happens,
as you described it, so it's 28 points. And on some of those drives, they get a field goal instead of a touchdown. So, but your point is that is the difference between winning and losing.
And these are what this is what
and
coaches,
the play is designed. You can't execute the play if you're the coordinator. You're just designing plays. The design of the play was there.
Yeah, and this is what coordinators and head coaches are telling the players Monday in the meetings. Vrabel walks into the office, into the meeting room. They're going to show plays on there that were left on the field. They're going to show them both to the offense and to the defense together at times, just to show you it wasn't as bad as what people portray it to be. If we hit these 4 or 5 plays, which were they were wide open. It ain't. Yeah. We're not talking. Okay, a guy was right there, and you could have sort of kind of made the play. These 4 or 5 plays that we saw were wide open. If you hit them, Ryan Tannehill has nothing to do with the play calling. Ryan Tannehill, if you hit those plays, we are talking about something different. We're not complaining about Derrick Henry not touching the ball in the second half as much. We're not complaining about some other things that happened. If you hit those 4 or 5 plays, which you should have hit, they were routine plays, routine throws that I've seen Ryan make over and over and over again. But for some reason, he didn't make him this game.
Well, let's continue the conversation coming up next, because at what point, if your quarterback can't hit those plays, at what point can you just not execute this offense? Can you just not run this offense? So we'll answer that question coming up next. Caroline, Willy, D-Mase, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
He knows Nashville sports.
I love Clark Lee. He is a brilliant dude.
And he's not scared to tell it like it is.
They were atrocious on defense a year ago.
He is Outkick's Chad Withrow.
We really don't care. You're here. You signed a grant of rights.
Withrow joins Stillman and Company every Friday at 5. Brought to you by BetUS Sportsbook and Casino.
I know they were doing that for him to be the third-string quarterback in year one.
On 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
1 week only. Electronic Express has massive sales on Overstock, Open Box, and Scratch and Dent products in every department. 4K TVs, laptops, tablets, housewares, Bluetooth speakers, and more. Hurry into Electronic Express for up to 60% off Open Box major appliances. Plus, get up to 5 years special financing throughout the entire store. Find a store near you at electronicexpress.com. Locally owned and operated. Electronic Express. We make it happen.
When getting the job done right is job one, you need construction equipment that's built right. From compact track loaders to the world's #1 selling compact excavator, the Kubota construction lineup features durable Kubota engines, more comfort, and the versatility to do it all and do it right. Visit your local Kubota dealer today. Go to KubotaUSA.com for full disclaimer.
Tennessee. We're Zen Sports, the new sportsbook in town. We listened to your feedback on our competitors, so we designed Zen Sports just the way you wished. Set favorites, search and sort bets, and earn real cash rewards, saving you time and money with every bet you make. Find the bets you want, not those distracting bets that seem too good to be true but rarely are. Best of all, withdraw your winnings in under 24 hours. So take control of your bets, because with Zen Sports, betting just got better. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-889-9789. Terms and conditions apply. Must be 21 and up and in Tennessee to bet.
Are you drowning in credit card debt? Want to get cash out of your home's equity? Loan Pronto can do it now in less than a week. Hey, Willy Donick here. That's right. Loan Pronto's Equity Express line of credit just got even faster. You can get $50,000, $100,000, even $200,000 in as little as 5 days. You don't even have to touch your primary mortgage. You can keep that 3% rate intact. Get just the money you need and pay off all those credit cards or get that home improvement project started. With this revolutionary program, you can access up to 90% of your home's value, and in most cases, there's no appraisal. Stop paying insane interest rates to the credit card companies and get tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars in cash in as little as 5 days. Call Loan Pronto now for the even faster Equity Express line. 615-499-5780. That's 615-499-5780 or go to loanpronto.com. 615-499-5780. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval.
Nashville, the Korn Ferry Season Championship Tour hits town this week with the Simmons Bank Open starting Thursday, 102.5 and 106.3. The game will be live on location with Caroline, Willy, and D-Mase, along with Jared Stillman. Tune in for great coverage.
Sometimes it's good to be loud.
This is the NFL.
Especially when you're Jared Stillman.
That's where we are.
He's not afraid to say what's on his mind each and every day.
That was embarrassing. I don't care if you're a rookie. That was embarrassing.
Stillman and Company. Weekdays at 2 on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app. Having some fun in the midday.
Yeah, it's awesome.
This is Caroline, Willy, and D-Mase on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hey, tune into 102.5 and 106.3 The Game this Saturday at 11 a.m. for our college football game of the week. Illinois versus Penn State, presented by Superbook Sports and Twin Peaks. Take your tailgate to Twin Peaks for scenic views of all the hottest non-conference games across the country. Breaking down this offense, because I thought it was a mistake to leave Derrick Henry off the field as much as he was left off the field in the second half. And if you're trying to evolve this offense, if I get it, I understand. But part of me also thinks, can't you just have Derrick Henry on the field even if you don't give him the ball? Like, Hutton brought up the stat. He said, Derrick Henry's on the field 27 snaps, and he got the ball 16 or 17 of them. So when he's on the field, he's getting the football. What I'd like to see, and Willy, you mentioned adding another layer to this offense. I think adding another layer to this offense is simply just deception. Of having Derrick Henry on the field more. Doesn't mean you have to give him the ball. Have him on the field and make the defense pay attention to him. You mentioned having Derrick Henry and Tajay Spears on the field at the same time. I think that's a great idea because you're going to have to force the defense to keep your offense honest. Look, you can have Derrick Henry and Tajay Spears on the field and then pass the football. So, that's my thing is if you don't want to give Derrick Henry the ball and run the ball on every single play, I get it. You're going to have to do more than that. But you can at least be more versatile and be more creative with how you use Derrick Henry rather than just creativity and pass versus run play.
That's why I think we have to look at what does the offense appear like after 4 games when we see them weave the web a little bit more. The encouraging thing is the offensive line was not a disaster. I thought, as we brought up last couple of days, I thought they made a little too much effort to force the ball to Hopkins. I don't think you I think, if anything, where you could get a little more carry or two to Derrick Henry, you take another throw or two off of Hopkins. Played 13 targets to Hopkins is not optimum to me. I'd like to see the other guys get involved a little bit more. Another thing to keep in mind, once again, you have to remember the situation. A lot of 1st and 15s, a lot of 3rd and longs. They were 2 for 12 on 3rd down. I think I heard Mike Vrabel say they averaged 8 yards per third down, which takes Derrick Henry off the field. Unless you all of a sudden think he is somebody that he has never been in his career, a third down pass catcher. He is not that. He comes off the field. So that is part of the reason. It's not a, hey, we don't want Derrick Henry out there. It's we want Derrick Henry out there in a position to be the best. Another example is if you look through his career, he doesn't have as much success, I don't think, running out of the shotgun. And so if you're going to run shotgun 3 wides, it's not the best way to use Derrick Henry. So what do? Do you keep him in, even though that's not where he does the best? Maybe. But can Spears be more effective in that situation? That's what they have to find out. So after 4 weeks, they'll have a better idea.
Yeah, it's going to take them, a few games to sort of, get this thing worked out, to figure out a way to how can we be balanced? And I'm not talking balance, run, pass. I'm talking balance in regards to getting the ball to our playmakers. How can we be balanced? And I think they will find that out, as these next couple of games get to going. Again, it's okay if we throw Derrick Henry out there on third down. It's 3rd and 8, 9. Well, how much of an effect is Derrick Henry going to be out there in regards to, okay, how is the defense playing this? If it's 3rd and 8, then the likelihood of Derrick Henry getting the ball, because one, they're going to want him to chip first or stay in the block. So he's essentially another tight end or a tight end to sit in there and block. So he's really not getting out on the pass play. And if he does get out on the pass play, it's late, which means Ryan Tannehill is really not going to get to him. And then if he does get to him, we got to worry about, man, is he really going to catch the ball? If it's not a flare route or a screen route, I'm just being honest here. He's not known for catching the football. He's known for running the football.
I get nervous when he catches the
football.
Now
when he can catch a screen pass. He can catch every so often coming on a swing route out the backfield, but that's rare. So we're putting him in an offense where he's just out there, and we're screaming for him, put Derrick Henry out there, put Derrick Henry out there. But he gives you nothing when he's out there on 3rd and long.
Or he's 1st and 15.
He's not giving you – I understand the premise of, well, he may, the defense has to pay attention to him. The defense is paying attention to everybody. Well, regardless of who it is.
In the 4th quarter, there was a series where the Titans went 3 and out, and Derrick Henry wasn't on the field for any 3 of those plays.
But that's not saying that they went 3 and out because Derrick Henry wasn't on the field. Now we can, in order to push or skew it the way we want to, we can say, well, he wasn't out there. There were 3. There were plays he was out there and they still went 3 and out. It's a tricky game, and sometimes what we think may be there isn't really there. I'm talking about we as not the people that are actually playing the game. We look at it and say, they could have did this. They could have did that. And sometimes we may be right. But then sometimes we may be wrong because we are not looking at the game from the coach's vantage point or the players. We're not looking at it from there. We're looking at it from the all-22 where we can see everything out there. And we think, oh, my goodness, this. Now, some plays are just obvious, like you should have hit that play or this play. Yeah. But then not everything is so obvious. But we try to make everything look as if, wow, they should have did this. Why didn't they just do this? Or why didn't they just have him on the field? There were plays or series or within the game where Derrick Henry was on the field majority of the time, and they still either didn't score a point or they went 3 and out.
Caroline, would you say that because let's take the second half stats, the ones that they did. He only had 5 carries for, 12 yards. They tried the screen again unsuccessfully. I can't remember if it was knocked down or if he got I think it was knocked down. The play were all over. It wasn't going anywhere. So when they did try to go to him, he was not as effective. But at the end of the day, he had 17 touches. Now, that would put him on pace still for over 300 touches on the season. So what is the optimal number? We're so used to seeing him carry at 25 or more, but we know that formula is not the best thing for Derrick Henry, and it wasn't part of a good offense last year. The offense was not a good offense with him carrying it that many. So what's the right amount of touches for him?
Well, I think there's a qualitative and a quantitative approach, and you're asking for a quantitative answer. I simply can't give you that, I don't think, because I could say, 325 is the sweet spot, but 328, that's far too many.
But remember, that was my question to you guys, to all of us, right? Over or under 320 touches. So to get that number down, if that is optimum, right, for the big picture, that's 17 is not that out of the ballpark if you're trying to take a little bit off his plate.
But I'm just looking at it through the vantage point of that game, where your quarterback struggled hitting receivers, where you were trying to force balls into places where they should not have been put. And Derrick Henry was moving and grooving in the first half. So I don't know if 25 touches would have been better for the Titans or not. I just would have said, if Derrick Henry's working, then give the ball to Derrick Henry, how many touches it might be. Because, at that point, yards and points were at a premium, and they were incredibly difficult to come by for the Titans on Sunday. So give yourself the best opportunity to move the ball downfield, and having Derrick Henry on the field, whether that's him carrying the rock or not, gave you the best opportunity to move the ball downfield.
But wasn't they doing this last year? I mean, in regards to third down, Derrick Henry not being on the field.
Yeah, I thought that was a mistake.
This is who they are. Like, this is how they're going to operate, unless it's like 3rd and 4 or less. But they feel if it's 3rd and 6 or more,
and they averaged 8. Remember, they averaged 8. So he will, in theory,
he's going to be off the field.
In 3rd and 1, if it's 3rd and 1 or 3rd and 2, I would expect he would be on the field more. But when you average 3rd and 8, I don't blame them for saying that's not a package where he's going to be effective.
And then again, listen, it's only the first game, and they looked at this film and they may think like you, Caroline, and everyone else are thinking, give Derrick Henry the ball more. Okay, we're going to give him the ball more. Or they could be thinking, okay, that was about the sweet number that we can give him. We just need to sort of divvy it out a little bit different. Or we need to capitalize on the plays that we need to capitalize on that are there for the making. Those were layup plays. If we just complete the layup plays, it makes Derrick Henry's job a lot easier. And it makes our job a lot easier in regards to calling plays.
There were several layups that just weren't executed well. Yeah. And that's not on Derrick Henry. That's not on Tim Kelly. Like, I thought the flea flicker where Ryan Tannehill just overthrew Chigakonkwo. Like, I thought that was a great play call.
But it affects Derrick Henry.
That it was a great time, but it was just a bad throw by Tannehill. But overall, I do wonder, if they're trying to turn away from the run and throw the football more, be more dynamic, can Tannehill do that for you? Like Raymond and Franklin texts in, says you're going to question the quarterback if he could run these plays after one game. Really? It's not after one game. It's after the entirety of his career. And we've been saying that Ryan Tannehill is not the kind of quarterback that can throw the football 35, 40, 50 times. It's not based off of one game.
He can't throw you to a win.
Correct.
That's fair. I do think that is a good question to be asking in the building. 34 pass, 22 run. Is that a little skewed? Now, again, when you get a false start on first down, you get behind the sticks. Like, that's not how you go in. It's not the plan. But it sort of leads you to throw more than maybe you want to.
615-737-1025 is our phone number. We'll get back into this. We'll get back into your calls and texts and how the Titans should run this offense moving forward, especially against the Chargers this weekend. But coming up next, a memo from the NFLPA and how it could affect the Titans. We'll get into that coming up next. Caroline, Willy, D-Mase, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
In St. Pete, Clearwater, Florida, fun in the sun goes way beyond the white sand beaches. Let's rock out at a waterfront concert at the Sound. Let's marvel at masterpieces of the Chihuly collection and make some flippered friends at the Clearwater Marine Aquarium. Let's pedal the 75-mile Pinellas Trail and stop at Florida's oldest microbrewery along the way. This fall, let's go for all the sun and none of the crowds. Let's shine. Plan your getaway at visitstpeteclearwater.com.
Blue Raider football lives on 93.3 Classic Hits.
Hey, this Saturday, the Blue Raiders return home for the first time this season to take on Murray State. Coverage begins at 5.
Your home for the Blue Raiders is 93.3 Classic Hits.
Hey, this is the Fat Jack, and we're heading into the middle of September. How did you do betting the games last week? Did you have teams like Auburn, maybe the New York Giants teams that got you into the hole, maybe the Kansas City Chiefs? This week, go to fatjacksports.com. Get signed up to turn a profit betting the games. The plays are texted to your cell phone. They're emailed to you, and they're going to get you into profit. Get everything through the month of September, only $299, and start making money betting the games against the spread. The Fat Jack Sports Service. No tricks, no gimmicks, just winners.
The two most sought-after, most prestigious names in bridal jewelry come together for one epic event next weekend at Genesis Diamonds.
Tacori and Viraggio, the world's premier designers, will be showing off their entire collections. All the latest designs, many showcased for the first time ever, with up to $5,000 in savings.
Everyone loves Tacori, meticulously crafted by master artisans in their California design studio. Discover the hidden details and exceptional quality that sets Tacori apart. There's always more than meets the eye with Tacori. Come explore the entire Tacori collection, including all new Tacori fine jewelry, earrings, bracelets, eternity bands, pendants, and more.
If you're engagement ring shopping, this is a once-a-year event you can't miss. Other jewelers aren't even allowed to carry these iconic American-made brands.
Also for this event, Genesis is showcasing an expanded selection of GIA-certified diamonds in all shapes and sizes.
Next weekend, September 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. Take advantage of special incentives, zero-interest financing, and as much as $5,000 in savings. Only at Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs.
It's time for another Kubota Field event hosted by Coleman Tractor of Nashville. Our biggest sales event of the year will take place on Thursday, September 21st at the Nashville Gun Club during the Shooting Hunger Sporting Clays Shoot. Stop by our booth to learn all about Kubota. Zero-turn mowers, utility vehicles, and more. Take advantage of Kubota's competitive financing offers, receive a coupon for up to $250, plus enter to win prizes. Try it and buy it at Coleman Tractor of Nashville during the Shooting Hunger Sporting Clays Shoot at the Nashville Gun Club, Thursday, September 21st. The event kicks off at 7:30 a.m.
Live from the Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical Studios. WPRT FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne. Broadcasting on Alexa.
I appreciate that.
And other smart speakers. 102.5 and 106.3.
And the score!
You can run different offenses.
The doors on the board.
Off the field, on the field.
The Game.
A Cromwell Media Station.
Covering your teams and the news of the day.
Ladies and gentlemen.
This is Caroline, Willy, and D-Mase.
Who is pleasant to listen to.
With Caroline Fenton, Willy Donick, and former NFL wide receiver Derek Mason.
You are hands down my favorite radio personality of all time.
On 102.5 and 106.3, The Game, and the Game Nashville app.
With no further ado,
Caroline, Willy, D-Mase, 102.5, 106.3, The Game, and the Game Nashville app. We're live from the Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical Game Studios. We are streaming live on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook Live every single day. Our video streaming is brought to you by Superbook. Download their app today and use promo code THEGAME. So we all know the Monday night football game in New York, Jets, Bills, all eyes on that game, and it was dramatic from the start, and the drama continued. Just a few minutes into the first quarter, Aaron Rodgers and this new-look Jets team, Aaron Rodgers tears his Achilles, and it was confirmed the next day that he's going to be out for the season. We know that. We've all seen that. ESPN has been talking about that, and only that, for every single minute since it happened. However, that caused a huge backlash on social media from a bunch of different players. David Bakhtiari, who we all know, bestie pops with Aaron Rodgers, he said, "Congrats, NFL. How many more players have to get hurt on artificial turf? You care more about soccer players than us. You plan to remove all artificial turf for the World Cup coming up. So clearly it's feasible. I'm sick of this. Do better." DJ Reed tweeted, "We need to get real grass for all of our stadiums." Several players have come out and said, we have to put a stop to this after Aaron Rodgers' injury of we want real grass in stadiums. So there was a memo put out there early this morning by Lloyd Howell, the executive director of the NFL Players Association, A statement on NFL field surfaces. The statement reads, moving all stadium fields to high-quality natural grass surfaces is the easiest decision that the NFL can make. The players overwhelmingly prefer it, and the data is clear that grass is simply safer than artificial turf. It's an issue that has been near the top of the players' list during my team visits and one I have raised with the NFL. While we know there's an investment to making this change, there's a bigger cost to everyone in our business if we keep losing our best players to unnecessary injuries. It makes no sense that stadiums can flip over to superior grass surfaces when the World Cup comes or soccer clubs come to visit for exhibition games in the summer, but inferior artificial surfaces are acceptable for our own players. This is worth the investment, and it simply needs to change now. So why does this matter? Why is this relevant to you, to Titans fans, to this city? The Titans just installed artificial turf in Nissan Stadium for the purpose of trying to limit as many injuries as possible. So D-Mase, I mean, you've played on grass, you played on turf, and of course turf now is probably much different than the turf was when you played on it.
When D-Mase came into the league,
it was like this right here.
Concrete, essentially.
On his home field one year at Vanderbilt Stadium. I remember that turf. That was old school turf.
Yeah, right, it wasn't, it's come a long way since, my days of playing, at least my first 5 or 6 years of playing. They made a concerted effort to try to make this, field turf, or what was called AstroTurf back in the day, but now it's field turf. They try to make it a little bit better, a little bit easier on the body, but there's nothing you can do. Turf it beats up your body. It does. It was kind of funny when they asked Ryan Tannehill, can you point out a specific game that you felt worse on turf? Ryan was like, every game. And he's right. Every game that you play on turf, you walk out feeling like you didn't play 2 games because it's just hard on your body. But I understand what the NFLPA is trying to convince the NFL to do. Go to natural grass. I understand it. It's better for everybody's body. But when you start saying, well, you can bring it in for soccer, you care more about our soccer players. Not to say that the NFL, I think it was a player that said that and not the NFLPA. Well, you got to understand, they don't have to maintain that grass for a very long time. And it's during a part of the year where it's warm. The Titans have had grass since I've been here, other than this upcoming season.
Right.
What did we always talk about come November, December?
The field gets really bad.
The field is horrible. Why? Not necessarily because of the games. They had other people playing on it. Bowl games, concert, crane, snow. It takes a lot. Those groundsmen over there at the top, they're excellent. But they can only do so much when it comes to grass, maintaining it. It's easier to maintain a grass for a month during the summer when we're just playing soccer on it. Those soccer players are not playing as nearly as rough. It's not nearly as taxing on the grass, soccer players, than it would be if football players played on it.
And I think that was kind of their point was, well, is it not worth the money and the time and the upkeep for our safety? But my concern is if all of these players are coming forward and saying, we want grass, it's better for our bodies, and the Titans installed turf to try and eliminate injuries.
Who's right?
Who is right, and are they doing something that's counterproductive?
This is the essential question. And you have emotions running high when you lose a player like Aaron Rodgers, and you have people saying it was the turf. J.K. Dobbins ruptured his Achilles. That was on grass.
Jack Conklin.
Nobody's – it happened in week 1. You don't have the players saying, hey, man, what happened to the grass in Baltimore? It's anecdotal, right? Statistically, it's 50-50. You had one ruptured Achilles on turf, one on grass. So statistically, there's no difference in the 2 fields. But the players, because of that feeling,
we love playing on grass rather than
and so I think that skews your belief. Like when Ryan Tannehill was asked the question, his image immediately was the feeling in the shower of your body. All those little turf burns you get.
That you
your
don't
whole
see.
Body stink. And the next day, where your joints feel, man,
It's like
feels
you played
different.
2 games.
Right. And that is different than a ruptured Achilles. So the league has put out data that basically shows that for lower body injuries, it's about the same, grass and turf. There's not a big difference. The other thing that we want to know going forward that we don't know yet is this new kind of turf. The Titans will be the first team for football that has this new surface.
The double
Does
helix.
that help? Right, the coconut shells and all these things that they're.
It's vegan.
The vegan turf.
Yeah.
Hopefully, the vegan turf will be better than the old shredded up tires. Right.
Right.
So, I want to try to see the data before I say this is crazy. Why would anybody go to turf? But I do think sometimes your emotions play a part. Like, when was the last time we heard this? After Odell Beckham Jr. tore his ACL at the Super Bowl. Boom. So the other thing of putting the grass in, the reference of the World Cup.
Yeah.
Well, that's when you have time, I think, for weeks ahead of time to set up the field. Can you imagine if you were rolling that grass in on a stadium that has a roof and just putting it over the turf? Like, I don't know if I'd trust that grass surface. Like, the Titans have done that. They've had to do that late in the season because the grass that they have right now at the start of the season doesn't hold up. It gets dirt, it gets brown, it's tore up,
like the
and
grass
you put a new field on there, but that's not a great surface, right? It's over the top, it's resodded, it's not firm, it's not great footing. I've seen games like that. It looks good, but it's not, and it's new, but it's not down the way it needs to be.
The grass that they used at the Super Bowl. Do you remember all those players slipping and sliding?
Oh, that
around
was
the
not a
surface of the
good
Super
surface
Bowl?
at all.
Brett Kern was punting a ball and slipped in the middle of it. And Arizona does that they have real grass in an indoor stadium. They take it in, take it out, treat it. And this was the grass that they put all this TLC into, all this time and money into. And players were switching cleats midway through the game.
Good
so
point.
it kind of feels like you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. But what I want to get into coming up next is, one, this is now an uproar because a superstar got hurt. Where was all this uproar and every other injury that occurred in the NFL? And second, how much of a factor was turf really for Aaron Rodgers? And how much should you be concerned as a Titans fan about this new turf? So we'll get into that coming up next, and I see your phones lining up. We're right to those coming up next as well. Caroline, Willy, D-Mase, we are brought to you by Zen Sports. Start earning cash rewards on your bets today. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-889-9789. Terms and conditions apply. Must be 21 or older and in Tennessee to bet.
All the big plays.
And we are done. Vandy 24-21.
All the big stories.
I'm sure Vandy will be a much better team if Clark Lee is the coach.
All in one place. We are Nashville's best sports talk. 102.5. Game. And the Game Nashville app.
Attention all fire and safety line experts. Middle Tennessee's fastest growing fire protection company is looking for experienced service technicians, designers, and sprinkler system experts like you. Tired of working for a large corporate employer? Work for a company where you're more than just a number. Jarrett Fire Protection is owned and operated by Nashville natives and wants to invite you to grow with their amazing team.
Hi, I'm Jason Jarrett, owner of Jarrett Companies. I'm looking to hire experienced sprinkler experts and will offer a sign-on bonus of up to $5,000 for certified professionals. In addition to our great benefits that include a 401k match, PTO, and top pay with annual bonuses, we will also provide you with the top-of-the-line tools, trucks, and equipment that you need to grow your career. Our customer base is large and business is booming with many opportunities for advancement. Give us a call or go online to jarrettfire.com and apply today to become a member of our family and protect our community. That's JARRETT fire.com. Jarrett Companies, where we are above and beyond industry standards.
Hey folks, Joe Rexford here talking to you about PhD weight loss. I had a goal when I went into this program, losing 38 pounds, got down 39, then went past the 40 mark, but I'm in maintenance now, and maintenance is a fantastic plan as well. Keeping the weight off, losing the weight, no pills, no gimmicks, no other suppressants. This was a fantastic plan with a weekly coach call with my coach Rachel. You understand what is going on with your body in this process. The program is designed for you. Then it is tweaked tweaked for you. It is a plateau busting program. And if you've tried to lose weight on other programs, you know how it goes. You do it for a while, it might work, then you get sick of it, move on to something else. PhD weight loss does not give you that experience. You are going to stick with it. It's easy to stick with it, and then you're going to keep the weight off. You're going to know this is simple and easy. Again, you have a coach, and there's a guarantee. If you don't get within 5 pounds of your target weight at the end of your program, PhD will continue to coach you for free until you do. Join me now. You won't regret it. Visit myphdweightloss.com.
Are you drowning in credit card debt? Want to get cash out of your home's equity? Loan Pronto can do it now in less than a week. Hey, Willy Donick here. That's right. Loan Pronto's Equity Express line of credit just got even faster. You can get $50,000, $100,000, even $200,000 in as little as 5 days. You don't even have to touch your primary mortgage. You can keep that 3% rate intact. Get just the money you need and pay off all those credit cards or get that home improvement project started. With this revolutionary program, you can access up to 90% of your home's value, and in most cases, there's no appraisal. Stop paying insane interest rates to the credit card companies and get tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars in cash in as little as 5 days. Call Loan Pronto now for the even faster Equity Express line. 615-499-5780. That's 615-499-5780 or go to loanpronto.com. 615-499-5780. Equal Housing Lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval.
Want to see our smiling faces? You can watch us on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook Live.
We are good to go.
Presented by Superbook Sports, voted #1 sportsbook in Vegas. This is Caroline, Willy, and D-Mase on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Caroline, Willy, D-Mase, 102.5, 106.3, The Game, and the Game Nashville app. So there was a memo put out by the NFLPA, essentially a call to action from NFL players saying natural grass surfaces is the easiest decision that the NFL can make. Put them in every stadium because turf leads to injuries. It's unsafe. And David Bakhtiari, even, offensive lineman for the Green Bay Packers, even made the claim that the NFL cares more about money than the players if they don't put natural grass surfaces in every stadium. Of course, this was backlash that came out after Aaron Rodgers' season-ending injury. But Dr. David Chow, pro football doc, who's an NFL doctor for forever, went on the Pat McAfee show yesterday and talked about, what was the real reason behind Aaron Rodgers' injury? Was it the turf? This was Dr. David Chow.
And the other issue I'll address is a lot of players talking about Bakhtiari, about the turf, right? Look, I am the first one to say I think grass overall is safer than turf. Admittedly, there's different types of grass, different types of turf. But I don't think the turf was the #1 determinant here. It would have happened on grass too. The #1 determinant was Leonard Floyd on his back. The #2 determinant was the previous calf strain and perhaps the age of 39. #3 or 4 was the type of field turf. It could be a contributing factor, but I don't think it was the #1 factor. Look, J.K. Dobbins tore his Achilles on grass. Jack Conklin tore his ACL on grass, all in week 1. So it can happen other ways.
I did see Bakhtiari come back, though, and say, hey, there's only one that is controllable, though, and it's grass. Let's get grass. I would assume that you've said in your answer.
I'm for grass.
Yeah, okay, good.
I'm for grass.
Yeah,
I
super
am
grass.
for grass. I'm just not trying to blame the grass or the turf as the only reason, is all I'm saying.
Yeah, you were trying to dive a little deeper. You're like, hey, listen, I understand that it's certainly a part of this whole thing, but there was a lot of other factors that got us to this point.
So I think for me, this is to ask for every stadium, indoor, outdoor, to have grass. That's a pretty massive undertaking. For me, I think that that having a turf field had to have been the #1, determining factor for not just that injury, but for several injuries across the NFL, in order for the NFL to listen to the NFLPA's memo and, their request for natural grass surfaces. I think the #1 thing is, hey, this is a dangerous sport. Injuries are bound to happen.
Well, I mean, again, players, if you asked, every player, I'm sure, if not 100%, close to 100% would say, yeah, I'd rather play on grass. I grew up playing on grass, at least majority of us did, unless you were at a school that had turf. paying a lot
And
of
there's
money.
more and more of those than there used to be.
More and more of those because they don't want to have to deal with the upkeep of grass, especially not at just a regular, a public high school. You probably don't have the money to budget in to try to take care of grass like that. But, guys would rather play on grass. But it doesn't mean that, guys don't, playing on turf is a bad thing or a horrible thing. If it was that bad, then the players had an opportunity to do something about it. There's this thing called a collective bargaining agreement.
I was going to bring that
where
up.
you can sort of at least try to. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but at least try to collectively bargain moving forward or by the year such and such. Every stadium needs to have grass. Every stadium in the NFL moving forward. But they didn't do that. Why? Because they didn't give a damn. It wasn't on the top of their list. It wasn't in the top half of their list. Matter of fact, it might not even been on their list. So again, we can always retroactively go back and say, well, if he hadn't played on turf, he wouldn't have got hurt. But again, what do you say about the guys that got hurt on grass? I'm a proponent of playing on grass. I love playing on grass. And again, every guy do, but you don't hear this unless a big name guy gets injured. If this wasn't Aaron Rodgers and say if it was, I don't know, the third string.
J.K. Dobbins.
Yeah, didn't nobody say anything about J.K. Dobbins?
Jack Conklin tore his ACL on
Exactly.
Sunday, too.
Jack Conklin tore his ACL, but because who it was. If that was the guy that was just covering punts and he didn't get much run on offense or defense, there wouldn't be this. Actually, nobody would have talked about it. Let's just be honest. Nobody would have talked about it.
How many people out there knew that Jack Conklin tore his ACL?
Nobody, not really.
Nobody.
No.
And
they didn't care.
I hate that for
exactly.
him.
He's a Michigan State guy, so I hate it for him. But if they want to change what is going on in regards to the playing surface, they have an opportunity. The new collective bargaining will be coming up in some years, and a lot of guys may be out of the NFL by then, but you always want to leave a place better, than what you went into it. When you leave, you want it to be better. So if that's the case, guys, make sure you fight in this next collective bargaining. I don't know, I think it's 2030, somewhere around there, 32. Next collective bargaining, let that be one of your top bullet point things to hit. We do not want turf in any field. We want natural grass. Let's find a way to implement that within, I guess, the next 5 to 10 years as the new collective bargaining is coming up.
I want to hear if the players dispute what the league has put forth, that on lower body injuries, their theory is it's going to happen either way, that it doesn't make any difference. But what's hard to quantify, and this is where the players, I feel like, are coming from more, it's that cumulative effect. Mm-hmm. It's not I would not, if I were the players, I would not be focused on one particular injury to one particular guy. That's ineffective. That's anecdotal. Nobody is going to
You're not going to get nothing changed.
Because as we just pointed out factually, two guys had the same type of injury on grass the same Sunday. So it throw it out. It doesn't mean anything. You got to show me more data. But what I wonder is this new kind of turf that the Titans are putting in, is that going to help? Is that going to be better than past turf? Mm-hmm. Are the players going to like playing on it more? Will there be less injuries than there would have been had you stuck with grass? Because that's the Titans story. They believe wholeheartedly that it will help. They're going into a new stadium. Yeah. They could have waited until the new stadium to put a new surface in, but they thought it was important enough to put this in there because they think it will help. I don't know. The other thing that D-Mase mentioned is so many high schools now have gone to the turf.
Yeah.
What is the cumulative effect of players who are now in the league that have played all their lives, all through high school on turf? Is there more wear and tear? I'd love to know the studies on that. I saw a piece on Real Sports with Brian Gumbel, and I don't know, they referenced data, but they didn't really show a whole lot of detail on it. But you had people, and the examples they used were fields now that the turf has been in for 10 or 15 years. It hasn't been resurfaced. It's worn down. And is that contributing to cleats getting caught in the turf more? And is that affecting things going forward? Their theory was absolutely yes. I want to know. These are questions that I'd like to know, because if you care about the players and the health of the game, these are the things you should be studying very closely. Just like the studies that are being done right now on concussions and helmets. Like the helmets, you saw some people wearing some funky looking helmets. That's a new company that has come forth and said, okay, you tell me your position. We've got a helmet that's going to help reduce the trauma to your head. It's got a funky shape.
Yeah,
you might look a little different than you did.
Center was wearing
Absolutely.
one. They pointed it out on the
and
broadcast.
look, Tua's got a different helmet to help him on the backside of his helmet.
Good.
If that helps, keep him on the field, then that's the kind of thing we should talk about with the turf as well.
Nate is on the line with a thought on turf versus grass. Our phone lines are driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. What's up, Nate?
What's up, y'all? I was thinking about this morning when I saw the update from the NFLPA. I wonder, because we are now talking so much about the transition zone Nashville is in, I wonder if having the grass indoors on one of those, I'm going to call it tractor conveyor belt things, to move it outside to get the required sun it demands, and then put it back inside the water and get it out of all the elements that we think has a big impact on that specific grass. With them going to a dome, I wonder how that grass would have been impacted if there was less or more than Nissan Stadium.
Yeah, thanks for your call, Nate.
Well, the Texans did that at one point. I don't know if they still do it now.
Arizona
where they
does that.
rolled out their turf
Mm-hmm.
after the game and everything else. Let it get sun, watered it, and then right before the game, I don't know if they did it the day before the game or 2 days before the game, they would roll the turf back in. So it's nothing new. Teams have done it, but how many more teams are willing to do something like that?
You don't have a lot of room down where they're going to build this new stadium. Like, seriously, that would be like in Arizona. I've been there many times. It's
There's
right next to
nothing but room.
You got plenty of room. It's built in an open area. It's one of the reasons why the Coyotes have struggled so much, and they don't play there anymore. But we used to stay right next to the field. Remember the famous jog I did from the hotel, D-Mase? During the commercial break? That was a big feat by me. But if you jog around that stadium, you'll see all the area they have to roll that turf out and back in. I don't think they have the same amount of space where they're going to build this new stadium.
And I also just don't think that the Titans would have made the decision to go to turf just to go back to grass in a new stadium and to go to the trouble of doing all of that, first moving from grass to turf in this fancy pants new vegan turf that they've got, just to go back to grass if there isn't definitive, concrete evidence that grass is significantly safer and can avoid more injuries than turf can. I mean, we just heard from David Chow. He said, look, I prefer grass, but if we're going to look at this example through a vacuum, which seems like we are with Aaron Rodgers' injury, he said that maybe is the third or fourth reason why he tore his Achilles. The biggest reason why is he got hit by a big guy at a weird angle, and he had a calf injury going into the game.
And his age, so. But, I mean, listen, the Titans, they will change it if they need to. It depends on injury. If they have, 2 or 3 injuries on this new turf, then, unless they've signed a contract with this company that they have to put turf into their new place, they can always nix that and say, hey, listen, we're going with real grass inside the building.
Let's get into your phones on this coming up next. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. Tune into 1025 and 1063, the game this Saturday for Vanderbilt football. The Commodores will kick off at 6 p.m. on the road against UNLV with pregame beginning at 4:30 p.m. You can hear all the coverage on the 1025 The Game app and at theGameNashville.com.
He breaks down every game.
The players are still going to be fine.
And knows the ins and outs of the two-tone blue.
They deal with their own position coaches.
He is ESPN NFL Nation Titans reporter Teron Davenport.
It's clear what he's doing.
TD joins every Monday at 1, Thursdays at 3, Friday mornings at 8, and anytime on the Talkin' with TD podcast.
I think that's really cool how he could show both sides.
TD is on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Happy Wednesday, men. I need you to listen up because I need to tell you about Cool Springs MD. Over the years, more men have started to seek help for hormone deficiencies and imbalances. And Dr. Jeffrey Lodge and his wife Daphne, along with that experienced staff, give men the treatment required to improve their quality of life. Cool Springs MD services have already helped many men of Brentwood, Nashville, and the surrounding areas in Tennessee with improving their immune systems, energy levels, cognitive functions, and more. They are there to connect you with the medical care you require to have a healthy and enriched life. So there's no better time now to achieve a healthy lifestyle. Men, fellas, what are you waiting for? Give Dr. Jeffrey Lodge and Cool Springs MD a call today for an appointment. Here's the number if you don't already have it in your phone. 615-486-3458. That's 615-486-3458, or visit our website at coolspringsmd.com.
The two most sought-after, most prestigious names in bridal jewelry come together for one epic event next weekend at Genesis Diamonds.
Tacori and Viraggio, the world's premier designers, will be showing off their entire collections. All the latest designs, many showcased for the first time ever, with up to $5,000 in savings.
See the latest from Viraggio, handcrafted on Fifth Avenue in New York by true artisans with unmatched attention to detail and the highest quality standards. Viraggio is the only ring that can be customized for every woman's specific desires. Come explore the entire Viraggio collection at Genesis.
If you're engagement ring shopping, this is a once-a-year event you can't miss. Other jewelers aren't even allowed to carry these iconic American-made brands.
Also for this event, Genesis is showcasing an expanded selection of GIA-certified diamonds in all shapes and sizes.
Next weekend, September 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. Take advantage of special incentives, zero-interest financing, and as much as $5,000 in savings. Only at Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs.
Hey home buyers, TJ Anderson here. 6326 Patton Avenue is a new construction home in Nashville's Charlotte Park neighborhood. It offers 4 bedrooms, 3 baths, and nearly 2,500 square feet. Features include a 2-car garage, custom walk-in shower, and a private backyard that's fully fenced. Text the number 2 to 615-420-2377 for pricing and info. Want your home on the radio? Google TJ Anderson Homes and see why we are referred by clients so often. TJ Anderson Homes at Benchmark Realty. Office number 615-432-2919.
Caroline Fenton here for my friends at Sean Hammond's Jiu-Jitsu Academy. They supply a very safe and family-friendly environment with classes daily. Classes range from Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, cardio kickboxing, ladies and kids programs, and so much more. Black belt instructed classes for men, women, and kids of all ages. You'll gain knowledge in self-defense, get a great workout, and get in the best shape of your life. Located at 2909 Armory Drive in South Nashville, call Sean Hammond's Jiu-Jitsu Academy today to set up your free trial. Learn more at SeanHammondsBJJ.com.
Nashville Sounds Baseball lives on 94.9 The Fan. Catch every pitch.
Swing and a miss, strike 3.
Every hit.
That's a base hit.
Every run.
Looking up, it's gone.
On your home for Sounds Baseball. 94.9 The Fan and The Fan app.
Hey, this is Roman Yossi. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk. ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Derek, you're a guy who's, the field's here grass, Nissan Stadium had been grass. They're making the change over to turf. Having worked on the same turf in the bubble, what's your thoughts on being, facing this season, being on that this year?
Yeah, I mean, we got to play on it. That's what the field is now. We've been on it for a year since last year, so kind of used to it. And then get a feel for it as the season goes on. Once you start playing on it, going full speed and tackling all that. But we played on turf throughout the years. The Colts and then Houston Texans have turf, so it's not really too hard to get used to.
How different is it from some of the other turfs in the league?
I think you got to keep water in it. I don't think it has I think it's more like coconut pebbles or something like that. It's just different from the normal turf. So I think that's a little different from it. So we'll see how it goes when we get out there.
There you go. That was noted turf expert Derek Henry on the coconut turf.
Gotta water it.
Gotta water it, apparently.
Gotta water it. More natural.
I don't really know why you have to water it.
I don't either. I do remember the first time I ever heard about this. I was watching a Mets-Marlins game. The Marlins have a relatively new stadium. They have this surface, and there was a play where the outfielder dove for the ball, and the coconut stuff was popping up, and the announcer's like, "What is that? What?" Because you're used to seeing the black pebbles.
Yeah.
And that's nasty, too. It gets all over your arms, you're sweating, your eyes and stuff. That looks
Get
awful.
all in your shoes.
Oh,
and
that
Smells
looks terrible.
like rubber.
Yeah.
Smells like you're walking into like a Foot Locker.
That's not good. But the coconut's a whole different thing. So people were explaining what that is. It's like, oh, all right, I learned something today. So that's what they're going with. So you're going to see coconuts splashing around, I guess.
Awfully tropical.
We're going to see it.
This is all in reference to the memo put out by the NFLPA saying we want grass fields in all NFL stadiums. And, of course, this is all backlash following Aaron Rodgers' season-ending injury on Monday night. And so it makes me think, okay, so now the NFLPA is saying grass will eliminate injuries and we want grass, but the Titans just installed turf, special coconut turf, to try and eliminate injuries as much as possible. So what's right here? I want to get your thoughts on this. Steven is on the line with a solution to the turf. What's up, Steven?
Hey, good afternoon, y'all. Thanks for taking my call. So I took a second to think about this, and let me know what you think. It's probably silly, but hey, I might as well. So everyone's trying to show some ingenuity, new cutting-edge stuff, or try to be different, place themselves apart from everyone else in these new stadiums that are sprouting up everywhere across the country. I think I just killed two birds with one stone with this one. So Nashville is rumored or in talks to possibly getting an MLB team one way or another in the next 5-10 years maybe. Well, how about this? I've seen a lot of pictures or illustrations that have the new Tennessee football stadium right next to a new Nashville baseball stadium. What if you make the stadium large enough, the baseball stadium large enough, where you have you can actually fit a football field on the field itself, and you use that one turf and roll it to the football stadium when they need it for football, and then roll it back over to the baseball stadium when they need it for.
It sounds like a lot of rolling.
It's a whole lot of rolling.
What if both of the teams are playing at the same time?
They'll just split it. Exactly. Thank you for your call, Steven.
Thank you,
Where's our
Steven.
field? Well, the baseball guys.
Well, baseball game's not over with yet. You got to wait a second.
Let me just no.
Yeah, I mean that's not going to happen. It's not, Bill. It's in theory, it's great. You know, if you would, I'm sure, you know, the teams would love it because it means, you know, we don't have to foot the bill for the whole thing. We could just, you know, split it between the MLB and the NFL, and we just keep going back and forth.
It's like a 2-for-1.
Exactly. He said I killed two birds with one stone.
That is true. He did say
so
that.
there you go.
Look, this turf was the solution.
Yeah.
So why are we already trying to find solutions to a solution that they haven't even played on yet?
The baseball is minimum 10 years down the road, I would think. Yeah. I would think.
Yes.
And the stadium would be up, and the Titans would have played about 5 years in that stadium before that happens.
This is an NFLPA thing. Mm-hmm. The Titans, they had their fair share of injuries, as we know, the most injured team in the league 2 years in a row with a grass field. Mm-hmm. Now, look, we can look up and say, okay, where did these injuries occur? This stadium has turf. This stadium doesn't. I mean, Derrick Henry broke his foot at Lucas Oil. Ryan Tannehill broke his ankle at Lucas Oil on turf. The Titans still turned to turf to maybe try and address the injuries. Injuries happen on grass. Injuries happen on turf. This is what I don't think that this is going to be an issue that continues to persist by the NFLPA simply because I think it was a rash reaction to a star player going down with an injury that happened to be on a turf field.
And don't we think it's reasonable to say there might be a field, let's just say SoFi or you use Indy, that if you did the study, maybe there's more injured players on that particular field. And where you ask, okay, is there something wrong with that particular surface? Do they need to look at that? And by the same token, the Titans are looking at their grass and saying, our grass hasn't worked for us, so let's go to turf. Like, it could be that, right? It's not all grass fields aren't the same, all turf fields aren't the same. I think that's a reasonable statement, right?
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. So, I mean, again, if is it a problem? I don't necessarily think it's a problem in regards to turf, like the new turf. I don't think it's a problem. But if you go out of your way to ask a guy what would he prefer to play on, he's always going to defer to grass, I believe, in my mind. But I don't think this is a big issue when it comes to players. If the Aaron Rodgers thing would have never happened, if you asked the players after the game or in the middle of the season, I mean, you would still get, I think, the same consensus as far as, okay, would you rather play on grass or turf? I think guys would say grass, even without the injuries. But it would be, okay, I mean, the way they're making this turf nowadays, I don't mind playing on it. We got to do what we got to do. But if you're asking me, I would say I would say grass, regardless of how many injuries we didn't see on turf or we did see. Guys will always defer to grass. That's just my opinion. Playing in the league for a long time and hearing guys after games like, man, this turf just, and there probably wasn't an injury on the team, but it's like, man, this turf beats you up. Yeah. Especially when you're playing on grass. Like, say if you go 3 or 4 weeks and you got, like the Titans got grass, used to have grass, you have a 3-game swing at home, and then all of a sudden, that 4th game, you go play on some turf. Your body's going to feel it because you've spent the last 3 games on grass.
And the other side of this, if it gets to a point where this is something that's negotiated in the next collective bargaining agreement, what I want to know is what's the process? Mm-hmm. Because like Wes in Clarksville, Texas says some of these current stadiums won't allow for grass. They're not putting grass in Minnesota. Mm-hmm. How do you take care of natural grass in Minnesota in December? Because, Arizona can wheel it out because they've, 1, got the space, and 2, it's 100 degrees year-round and it's always sunny. But tell me how Buffalo is going to do that. I know Buffalo has an outdoor stadium. Do they have real grass?
They have turf, I believe.
Okay. So,
but you know what?
How feasible is this for every stadium in America?
Here's what players are going to say. You got the money. Pay for it. And then you know what owners are going to say? Well, we're paying y'all. That's what we're doing.
Build a greenhouse?
But I'm saying the owner's gonna say, well, we're paying y'all. Y'all want more money or y'all want new grass? Y'all want grass everywhere because it's gonna cost a lot of money to keep this grass up. So if y'all want to give a little bit of that money back, then we can take care of the grass. This is gonna be their argument, even though really I don't think it holds water because you're making enough money that you can sort of make sure this grass is the way it needs to be. But the owner's rebuttal was going to be, we're paying y'all. Y'all want more money, don't y'all? Yeah. Well, we can't do what we need to do because we're paying the player a bigger piece of the pie, which the player needs to get. Now, if the player wants grass in all 32 teams, the owner's going to say, hey, give us some of that money back. We get y'all grass in there, but you got to give some of this money back. And the players ain't doing that.
They're not doing that. No. I need to play on turf. Mm-hmm. For, $250 million? Mm-hmm. Okay, fine. Fine, twist my arm. I'll do it. But I'm picturing, a truck picking up a grass field on Sunday evening and transporting it to a greenhouse in rural Minnesota.
That's what happened.
I don't know how you would do it.
That would need to happen.
There's some soccer stadiums that you can find on YouTube where there's some real high-tech, expensive ways that they do that. But it looks crazy. Tottenham, I guess, is one that people were telling me. I don't know as much about that. Maybe somebody can fill us in.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it's a cost thing. It goes back to your
a lot of money.
Do you want this if it costs this and you get less?
Probably not.
I don't know.
No.
I'm gonna tell you, Willie. No, they don't.
Absolutely not. No. Hey, this week's Nashville's best deal is the legendary Elliston Place Soda Shop. Elliston Place Soda Shop is 1 part soda shop, 1 part meat and 3, and 1 part old school diner that has been serving Nashville since 1939. So get half off a $20 gift card to Elliston Place Soda Shop now at thegamenashville.com while they last.
Are you always on the go? we've got you covered. Download the Game Nashville app from your app store and listen to us wherever you are.
Robbie Stanley, Joe Rexroad. It's Chase McCabe.
Caroline, Willy, D-Mase.
Dominic Company.
We are Nashville's best sports talk.
Good station. I listen to it all the time.
102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Caroline Fenton here from my friends over at Superbook Sports. Why bet with the big boys this football season? Instead, try your hand with the local book, Superbook Sports, this fall. Superbook Sports is the book next door, just a dedicated team of the best odds makers in Las Vegas, making sure that you get the best prices and parlays anywhere. And now Superbook will give you a bonus of up to $250 when you sign up and wager on the same day and use the promo code Caroline. So bet with the best and use promo code Caroline this football season with Superbook Sports. Visit superbook.com for terms and conditions. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
We got a good thing growing at the Nashville Fair. We offer nightly music, wrestling, cultural arts, barnyard animals, dinner shows, games, competitions, classic fair foods, and thrilling rides. Join in and explore the fun at your Nashville Fair, the only fair in Nashville. Now through September 17th at the Fairgrounds Nashville. Buy tickets online and save at nashfair.fun. Come on out and grow with us at the Nashville Fair.
Nashville, we have an important decision to make on September 14th. We can elect a mayor who's even more progressive than the liberals ruining Nashville for decades, or we can elect a mayor who understands that Nashville needs a new direction. Our failing schools, our massive tax hike, out-of-control crime, and excessive spending has got to stop. If not, we'll end up like all those progressive cities that are now total disasters. If you don't vote, we can't win. Vote Alice Rowley for mayor today. Paid for by Save Nashville. Tom Landstreet, Treasurer.
Oh, Charlie's, that's where you'll find me. That southern flavor got me saying, hey, y'all. And ooh, that gooey caramel pie tastes like summertime at Old Charlie's.
The sweet, sweet sounds of this song are in honor of the sweet, sweet news that free Pie Wednesdays are back at O'Charlie's. O'Charlie's. Oh, that's good.
Yum, yum, that's some O'Charlie's. Born in Nashville and it shows.
Hey y'all, it's Courtney with Parman Tractor and Equipment. Warmer months have you working overtime? Be sure to visit Parman Tractor and Equipment for all your New Holland tractor and bush hog needs. Swing by our store at 3570 Dickerson Pike in North Nashville or give our sales team a call. We're now offering 0% financing for 72 months on select New Holland tractors. Get the brands you trust from a local dealer like Parman, always ensuring totally outrageous customer service. Visit ParmanTractor.com for the best deals on equipment, New Holland tractor, bush hog, and more.
If it's important to Nashville,
I'll put it out right now.
It's important to Jared Stillman.
Like, that's it.
He's not afraid to ask the tough questions.
Something is going on, and the question is, what does it mean?
Or give the strong opinion.
And just needed the bozo offensive coordinator to stop ruining the quarterback.
Stillman and Company. Weekdays at 2 on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app. Having some fun in the midday.
Okay, that's really fun.
This is Caroline, Willy, and D-Mase.
It's a good source of energy because it's live.
On 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Caroline, Willy, D-Mase, 102.5, 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app. Let's wrap up with your text, your call. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. Anything is on the line. Turf, the new NFLPA memo that came out that said, we players demand grass fields in every stadium across the NFL. Or anything else Titans related. Raymond and Franklin text in about our conversation about Ryan Tannehill, because we were discussing this Tim Kelly offense. And is it emphasizing the strengths of this team? And this is kind of what I think is like a philosophical coordinator-coach question of, you have this system that you know. Mm-hmm. Are you going to run that system no matter what? Or are you going to run systems according to the talent that you have? Now, I live in the philosophy of don't fit a square peg in a round hole. Mm-hmm. Tailor your system around the strengths of your football team. Raymond Franklin says you're going to question the quarterback if he could run these plays. After one game, really, wow. I think it's less of one game and more of how we understand what Ryan Tannehill's strengths and weaknesses are.
I think he was capable of making at least some of the throws. They looked pretty wide open. So I wouldn't scrap the whole thing. Now, to the point, I'll give you an extreme example from the past. Jared DiNardo, Vanderbilt football, came in. He was a Colorado Bill McCartney disciple. Eyebone. Came in, recruited that way for 4 years, had a decent amount of success, not big success. Enough, though, to get the LSU job, Caroline. So he goes to LSU.
Yeah, that was a solid
It didn't go that great for Coach DiNardo there.
Jerry DiNardo.
Not
and
great.
then Nick Saban
Not
came
great.
along and things turned around.
It did. So, in the meantime, Vanderbilt was tired of watching the eyebone. Oh, man, we can't throw the ball. We have weeks where we have 50 yards passing or whatever. It got bad at times. If the eyebone wasn't doing its thing with the option and stuff and they got behind, it looked ugly. So the athletic director, Paul Houlihan, infamous character from the past, said, give me a pro-style offense. He hires Rod Dowhower, lifelong NFL guy. Says, give me an NFL offense. Well, the problem was they had all eyebone quarterbacks, receivers, running backs. And it was exactly what you might predict.
Yeah.
It was terrible.
It was hot
They
mess.
just didn't have the right guys to run a pro offense. And it was a major, major failure. Set them back 5 years.
Well, I mean, this offense, I'm not going to sit here and say the Titans don't have the personnel or the talent to run this, Tim Kelly offense, which is a Ty Downing's offense. I'm not going to sit here and say that. But what I can say after watching the film, you're going to have to tailor it a little bit. You're going to have to. There's some things you're going to have to tweak because you have on your team right now, you don't have enough speed nor enough quickness to possibly do some of these things that you want to do from an offensive standpoint. Just watching the film, it seems like Ryan Tannehill is holding the ball. Now, it could be the offensive line. I don't know. But he's holding the ball. Why? Because guys are not getting open. Vrabel said that. Guys got to get open. You're watching the film, and Ryan Tannehill is already in his fifth step, and guys are not even at the top of their route. That's a slow offense. We can't operate under those conditions where it's supposed to be when I hit my back foot, you need to be into your route. I need to hit that back foot, boom, and release unless the defense tells otherwise. I can't take my steps, and you're still not where you're supposed to be. I've always said, be where you're supposed to be when you're supposed to be there. That's the whole premise of an offensive philosophy. Be there when you're supposed to be there in rhythm so the quarterback can get the ball, release it, and go. Well, because of the lack of foot speed, like legitimate foot speed, Treylon Burks is fast, but it takes him a minute to get up to speed like Derrick Henry. DeAndre Hopkins isn't. There's not many guys that have down the field speed. I think Chris Moore has some, but wasn't able to show it this past weekend. This offense, if it's going to run in a way that's going to put up points, Tim Kelly may have to sort of tweak it a little bit. Not change it, because you're not changing an offense. I mean, the players are here. You knew what players you had. The offense was here last year. You just tweaked some things. But you may have to tweak it a little bit more because of the personnel. The lack of foot speed on your team. You lack that at this particular time. You got some playmakers, some guys that can make plays, but a lot of times, if it's not zone coverage, it's going to be hard, contested throws. And we saw this past Sunday, if you're tied up, Ryan's not throwing it to you, or he's going to hold on to the ball too long and he's going to get sacked. They need people that have quickness, that can get off the ball, get separation. That's all this league is about. I understand speed. I get it. This team needs it. But in this league, I would rather have a guy quick that can get off the line of scrimmage, get separation, rather than have that deep speed. Because once he gets off the line, gets that separation, I'm in my third or fifth step, I'm hitting him, and he's on the go, and he's moving. Tyreek Hill is fast. damn fast, but you know what else he is? Damn quick. Waddle is more fast than he is quick. There are some receivers out there that Larry Fitzgerald, prime example, he's more quick than fast when he was playing. So it just seems like he was just open all the time. Yeah, because he didn't have the necessary long speed, but he had that 10-yard speed that you need. D-Hop doesn't have that no more. He has the hands. He doesn't have that no more. Traylon has long speed. He doesn't have short speed. They got to find people with short speed that also can get the ball in their hands and then go.
Mark in Paris texts in, says, I've been a Tannehill supporter for a while, and it took me a bit to get over the Bengal game, but I did. But it's time to move on. I don't know which of the two is the answer. I'm assuming he means either Willis or Levis. Maybe neither one, but I want to give them the ball. That's what I can't get to. Because if
we're a little ways from that.
If you're frustrated with Ryan Tannehill turning the football over against New Orleans, well, guess what Malik Willis did in every single preseason game? Turned the ball over. So, okay, no Malik Willis. You want to go to Will Levis? Who's thrown a grand total of what? 25 passes in the NFL? If that? Yeah. If that. It might even be closer to like 15. So, no, I understand, the devil you don't know might be better than the devil that you do, but we are not there yet, nor do I think we'll ever get to that point in this season. We may. We will cross that bridge, and when we come to it, we're not there now.
No, we're not. And it's hard to tell Titans fans not to panic. I get it. You're coming off a season where you lost 7-8 in a row. Then you start the season and you lose a game. So I know it's hard to say don't panic. But you got, 16 more games left. 16, 17. They changed it. I don't know, 16. But you have a whole season of football left. I understand you didn't like what happened this past weekend. Nobody did, especially not the players. But you have another week to get better. Again, I think this team is going to get better against the Chargers, but I don't know if better equates to a win. But I think the offense, from a distribution standpoint, it will look a lot better. I think from a running standpoint, I think it'll look a little bit better, because I think they're going to try to hammer Derrick Henry early and often, and then go to Tajay Spears when they need to get up in that, get between those tackles very quickly or outside the tackle. So just hold on for another few games, people, and then if it doesn't change, then okay, all bets are off. Call and vent as much as you want to. Call for Malik Willis. Call for Will Levis. Call for, I don't know, Willie Donner to play kind of.
For Caleb Williams in 2024.
Absolutely. Drake May, Caleb Williams, Shador Sanders. Just bring it all.
Put D-Mase.
Exactly. Put me in there. It don't matter. After 4 games, if it doesn't look different, then you have every right to vent and suggest some things. So, but right now, it's a little bit too early.
That's going to do it for us today. Tomorrow, we turn our focus to the Chargers. We'll be back tomorrow at 11 a.m. Stillman & Company is up next.
Be love and love on your people. Peace.